people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Developing through technology an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned.
We recognize different ages for different purposes. We recognize 18 for the draft. We recognize 16 for driving in some states. We recognize 21 for drinking. So we recognize different ages for different purposes. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Could I have a second to engage that?
Certainly. I'll yield to the gentleman from Kentucky.
Would the chairman join me in co-sponsoring a bill to raise the draft age to 21?
No.
But the chairman feels that their brains aren't fully formed at 18, 19, and 20.
The research does indicate that in certain respects, but the Selective Service needs, I mean, if the country needs people, it needs people.
It needs people whose brains aren't fully.
To say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him. What do we do now?
Back to them, or do you want to stay with Donald Trump?
Fuck Joe Biden.
Refuse to go along with this, and I'm seeing through all of your lies, Barack Obama, you wicked, wicked devil!
Welcome back to another night of Stick with Koolfrogg. Oh my lord, I just got off a stream with the expert. We had a great time. I spent 2 hours with him, and now I'm going to spend the next, I don't know how many with you. Welcome back, everybody. See, what do I got? Who do I got here? What's going on? Hello, Phil. Sorry to those that had a wrench that feel that they got that taken away. I had given a wrench to everybody, and there's some issues that had happened. We tried taking care of the moles and the little creatures to go along with that just weren't right. Some of you didn't get your wrench back. A lot of you did get to keep your wrenches. Just saying, if there's somebody out there that I should actually continue to give a wrench, show me you earn it and I'll give it back. I'm just saying that's how that works. Hello Germs, hello ID Crisis, hello Toybox Brain, what's up brother? Lisa, how are you doing? JC, Meme Raid, I'm sleepy. What? You can't be sleepy. Yeah, sorry JC. It's not that I won't give it back. If you really want it back bad enough, I can see what I can do to help you out. I'm super gay. Give me a wrench. Madcore Mofo, what is up, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. We missed you last night. We really did. Had quite the show. It was supposed to be a Grimsbar, congratulations, you made it to 1,000, and Grimsbar didn't show up himself, so not that it was a bad thing, but at the same time, I missed you. I'm glad to see you tonight. Hope everything's going well for you. Hello, Patricia Howard. I'm just kind of sitting there trying to wait for AmericaShirts, the latest and greatest based man on the planet. He just likes to do this to me. He thinks he's smart. He thinks that if he continues to do so, eventually I'll just sit here and I'll fumble on myself and I'll just shut down the show, and then he'll laugh at me and be like, ha 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 ha. Nope, it ain't gonna happen. No, that might that's inside me has grown. It's grown to the will of the people that are watching me. Hello, Jay Lebgate. Only wrench I ever had, and I took it away from you. You know, like I said, prove it to me that you want it back, and I'll totally give it back. I don't know how many I want to give back because I do have a full crew of wrenches. There's plenty of people that still have them to actually help moderate some of the issues and keep those moles out of here. Also, if you have a wrench, you don't need to subscribe. That's the hard one. And I don't believe I have subscriber mode on right now. So anybody that hasn't, that does show up here on a regular basis, please hit that subscription button for me. Hit the subscription button. Show me that you really want that wrench. Show me how badly you think that you can actually do the job better than the next, and I'll give it back to you. I don't have problem doing that, but I had to get rid of a couple moles first. I believe I got to that point, and look at that. There's a couple people. Look at that. Toy Box Brand, forever subscribed. That's what I like to hear. Somebody that will never walk away from me, somebody that won't stab me in the back, somebody that just loves to be here because, hey, it's Koolfrogg. Oh, Madcore, how did you lose your wrench, brother? There you go, man. That's one that I should have never taken away. And I knew that there was a couple people. JC, you asked, you begged, you pleaded, and I'll continue to allow you to have one. I preferred if you'd actually come and hit me up in Discord and actually talk to me for a few minutes. Yeah, exactly. Wovener. Wait, what? A mole? Yeah, there was just somebody that was super toxic. That was it. Just weren't the best person for me, and I removed that person in particular. I've moved on from it, and Phil, lol, I'm wrenchless. Uh, like I said, come prove it to me. Prove it to me that you're actually a real person and that you actually deserve to have the wrench, and I'll totally give it back. If it bothers you that much, I apologize. I really do. Um, there's plenty of ways to actually hit me up, and there's plenty of ways to actually make this work. And see, that's what I'm talking about. The second I walk in here and I do that, I picked up a subscriber, somebody that's actually willing to actually subscribe, somebody that's willing to actually be here because they want to be here, not because they actually have a wrench. Squawbob says, "I'm not worthy." Yeah, if you feel that way, we'll stick with that for now. Hello, Lisa. How's it going? Welcome here. ID Crisis. Yeah, flying solo for the moment. I do have a full lineup of news to go through. As soon as America Shirts decides to actually put on his shirt and come and join me, and Kirk, I subscribed long ago. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Love it. Bridget Buckley. Hell yeah. You're one top Madcore Mod City mofo. Yeah, yeah. And that's where I picked that up from. Is it's just mod everybody and let everybody just say whatever they want was from Madcore, which is awesome. I love it. But I had to do something to actually take care of those potential moles that were out there that were associated with the one person that I absolutely removed. Start with more Tokyo street views, all new to me and very interesting. Okay. So this is the Dic-tato Koolfrogg stream? Yes. Yeah. I'd like to give silly names to my episodes because it actually gives people a reason to actually like the episode before it even starts. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. We'll bring you in. We'll bring in somebody here real quick just to hold a little bit of a conversation before America Shirts decides to actually finally show up. Very good guy, somebody that that understands the struggle of the game. Welcome, ID Crisis. What's up, brother?
What's up? Thanks for
Oh,
letting me
see, I
in.
didn't even notice my American flag isn't up. What in the world? Get that flag up there. Get
I,
that
I,
logo in the corner. Oh,
I actually need to change my logo back. It is no longer a MAGA month. Can I get a happy birthday to my firstborn son?
happy birthday!
No,
Heck
he's not
yeah!
here. He's not hearing any of it, but maybe someday in perpetuity after I'm dead, while they're going through my things, wondering how
Happy
much money
birthday
they
to
can.
ID Crisis's oldest son. How old's your son? If you don't want,
You know what?
you don't have to.
Dads don't know that. Dads know that he was born in '98, which makes him somebody with
Oh,
math.
23, 24?
Good enough. Yeah. I
Yeah,
know he's
somewhere in
old
there.
enough. It's like once you turn 21, no one cares after that.
They'd be about the same age as my oldest as well. Yeah, 98.
Nice.
Yes.
Nicely done. Oh, your oldest. Yeah, my oldest. This is my second kid, oldest son. But yeah, happy birthday and
Awesome. Happy birthday to him. Should
yeah.
we sing? You want to sing together? Sing happy birthday to him?
All right. Ready? And a one.
Happy
And day
birthday
two.
to
Oh, I was gonna count it in. Ready? And a one. And a two.
two
And a
and three.
happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
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 you.
you. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday to
to you.
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday, ID
ID Christ's
Crisis'
oldest son.
son.
Happy birthday
Happy birthday to
to
you.
you.
Hope
Nice.
we have many, many more.
Yeah, he's gonna have many, many more. I hope. I mean, somebody's got to get all my stuff after I die, and it's not going to be a stranger. Cool fact. His fiance and I went in on an automatic clay pigeon thrower because the kid likes to shoot skeet.
Nice, nice.
I
That sounds like
know, I
fun.
know, I know. I had to do all that research today, and then throw down and throw down for the on the Amazon cart and let it all go.
There you go.
The money, I mean,
There's a
like, you
couple
know,
happy birthdays in there for you. Look at that. Happy birthday.
the
Happy
older son. Yep,
birthday.
yep. Thank you. Very
Happy
skeet.
birthday. Happy birthday. Look at that.
Yeah,
Look at
man.
all these happy birthdays
That's
for him.
awesome.
That's
Awesome.
wonderful. Now he'll know that there's always a happy birthday song out there for him
I
from
know.
us to him and all these wonderful, wonderful people in chat. Look at that. Look at that.
That's great, isn't
Happy
it?
birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear BB. Happy birthday to you.
I know that was the worst, the absolutely most
Happy
terrible.
birthday from Madcore Mofo.
Thanks, man. That is
That's the thing
awesome.
right there. Hell yeah. There you
Yeah,
go.
I
Look at that.
may be able to hit it enough, but I
Welcome
can't
back,
do it
Anne.
on
Happy
time.
birthday to you. Look at that. Look at all the happy birthdays.
That's awesome.
There's the Felice
I
happy
got to come back and
Felice
clip all
birthday.
this.
Here
This
you
is
go.
great. I got to come back and clip all this.
Yep, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
MAGA month is over on August 1st. I got to change my my logo out.
Oh yeah, I mean, I suppose it is past the past midnight for you,
Right.
isn't it? Yes,
A
yes. See,
little
it's
bit, only
it's only
13,
quarter after 10 for me,
only-
so you know technically you're still within the month for me.
I'm
You're
in the
good.
gray area. That's good. Congratulations on all the great things that have happened to your channel, man.
Yeah, you know, and it's wonderful to see that people are actually understanding where I'm coming from with this, and I seriously just picked up another 3 subscribers within the last few moments.
Yeah, I think I'm actually catching residuals from you too, because I caught some subscribers today, like 3 today.
Nice.
And I
That's
feel like
awesome.
I need to find that Sally Fields Emmy or no Oscar acceptance speech. You know, the one that everybody always makes fun of. You like me. You really, really like me.
Jay, leave got.
I know
Where's
I could
my
use that
wrench? And
somewhere.
where's my wrench? People are missing their wrenches because I had handed out wrenches.
Thank you, Bridget.
Madcore style, just handing them
Thanks,
out to
Toy Box
everybody.
Brain.
You get a wrench. You get a wrench. Everyone gets a wrench. And
Yeah, man.
I found that wasn't the best thing to
Thank you,
do.
Ann.
Apologies to all of you that feel that you've been stripped of something that you earned. Again, if you really want the wrench back, hello, Toot Sweet, you're
You know,
new.
I
It's
don't feel like
awesome.
it
Good
was like
to
an
see you.
was it an earning thing or was it a ground floor thing?
It was I was having fun. I was doing the Mad Car Mofo thing or whatever, and just handing wrenches out to everybody.
Yeah,
And
it
like I said,
worked.
I ran into an issue. I ran into an issue where it seemed there was an awful lot of people that had a wrench that
Hmm.
weren't subscribed, because you don't need to subscribe when you have a wrench. You still get to see everything. Those of you that got to keep your wrenches, because I was going through it with a fine tooth comb, trying to dig out who I wanted and who I didn't want. And it wasn't that I didn't want them, it's just that there was somebody that had a wrench that shouldn't have had a wrench.
Right.
That's the difficult one. So to take away everybody else's, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to leave at least a few people with a wrench. And there's the reason right there. There's a reason right there, because there's stuff that's being withheld. Everybody needs to watch what they're actually accepting in here. There's hate speech stuff. You can't. There's just certain things that we've been allowing to go on for so long, and I'm not deviating away from it at all, because fuck that shit.
That's what
At
you
the
get for
same
trusting in the human race.
right, at the same time, I trusted so many people, and I was being railroaded by it. It's just not a good feeling when you actually realize that that's actually happening. Yeah, see, and Kirk, yeah, congratulations, Koolfrogg. Yeah, thank you, thank you for understanding, and thank you all for actually continuing to subscribe to me. Like I said, I picked up 3 subscribers within the last few minutes here, so
Trying to find a really good
it's good to
representation of
have.
this, but it's not the
Daisy
ever
Girl
they
Williams
keep
says,
replacing the
"Hey
wrench with a
guys, greetings
lightsaber.
from North Carolina. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. As soon as America Shirts brings his butt in here,
I'm leaving.
we'll actually start with some news. It is Sunday.
That's
What is
Monday.
what is and look at that. There's
And
America
there he
Shirts.
is.
How's it going, brother? What were you gonna share here, Eddie?
Oh, that's I was trying to find this from the scene from one of the Fast and Furious movies, The Wrench.
The
If you look
wrench.
at Vin Diesel's right hand, he's holding a
Yeah,
really
a wrench.
big wrench in the left hand too. I think he's going up against Jason Statham. And oddly enough, all of the images I put in, Vin Diesel, Fast and Furious Wrench, fight, and everything I found, everyone had converted all of the wrenches to lightsabers.
Welcome, Super V. How's it going, dear? So, America Shirts, if you
Yeah.
haven't been listening, hadn't caught what was going on,
We've been
I
saying very,
went
very
through
cool things about you.
Thank you.
with a fine
Well,
comb, and actually weeded out some of
oops,
the
sorry.
weirdness that
My
was
pinky.
going on.
That was my
Oh my
pinky.
lord! He says, "I want you
No,
actually
no,
to have to
I
take
just,
this
I'm
segment
telling
out."
you, I just brushed my hand over the iPad and I hit one of the carts. I did not mean to do that. With a fine toothed tome we've
Yes,
been going through.
I've been going through, and I actually pulled a lot of wrenches to take out the moles that were in there. There seemed to be that there was an awful lot of people that had, not that I won't give them back, but they have to actually prove to me that they're actually legitimate people and they're willing to actually use the wrench correctly.
Well,
I'm not a
yes,
mod,
because
but
as
keep
much
an
as
eye
we
on the
like
chat. Yeah,
people,
thanks, Anne. That's
I
awesome.
mean, the power of the wrench has power, and with that kind of power comes
Great
some great
responsibility.
responsibility there.
Okay, so what is that? Because I just let everything through.
Well,
Only because it's like YouTube doesn't.
it's
If YouTube restricts everything, then you're like, oh, come on, we're all
swear
adults here.
words,
Let it go.
certain innuendos,
Yeah.
certain things that just kind of that shouldn't really be said on the
Okay.
internet are usually what's actually held. And I know there's sometimes that Susan kind of goes, and says, well, I don't like what the sentence structure was.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's the sentence was just fine. It's just the way they worded it or whatever. It
So
made it
anything that
sound
Toy
like it,
Box Brain says, don't let it through.
potentially. Definitely watch Toy Box Brain. Oh,
You're
never
right.
mind. Toy Box Brain does
Oh,
have
oh
a
my
wrench.
God, is he here?
I did not take away Toy
Is he-
Box Brain's wrench. He is here.
Okay. All
I
right.
did not take away his wrench. I know that he likes to say a lot of things, and I'm not telling him that he can't say them.
So, Koolfrogg, you're saying
Oh,
that some
no.
people were sitting around with a wrench doing this?
They're sitting around with the
R.I.P. Mace Windu. R.I.P. Nichelle Nichols.
I
Okay.
always
I
use mod
understand now.
power
I need to.
as a last resort. I have a dozen channels I'm a mod on. That's awesome. Congratulations, Joe. I love it. Like I said, anybody that doesn't have a wrench any longer, that wishes they still had the wrench, that for good purposes, again, hit me up, on a personal level of some sort, and we'll actually figure it out to actually give it back to you. I'm not totally against giving wrenches back to certain people. There are quite a few
We
that
just
are
don't
left
want them.
with
We just don't want to
wrenches.
give over that much power to a Dark Lord of the Sith, if you know what I mean.
Right,
They always come in
exactly. We
pairs.
had given too much power out to a lot of people, and when you have a wrench, you don't need to subscribe. And I don't know how to actually turn on subscriber mode right now. I really don't. I don't know if I have to have certain amount of subscriber or to actually do so. I really don't know how that works, and I don't know where it is to actually click on that particular area to make it that way.
I, for one, appreciate the extra efforts that you went through to explain to me exactly what it was that was going on.
Yes,
That was
I did
nice.
reach out to you personally because I didn't want you to feel that we were, alienating anybody in particular for no reason
Right.
whatsoever. There was a couple other people that had been removed as well, and there's going to be one that's going to actually be reinstated into Discord
Mm.
shortly,
Mhm.
as soon as I have the moment to actually do so. I'm sure that person understands who they are. I
Do you
see
get the?
them.
Do you ever get the?
I see them around.
Okay. But do you ever get the
and
feeling though? I remember asking when I first got into. I'm probably going to end with this story because I do believe that it's relevant, but it's like 12:23, and I have to get up at like 6. So when I first got into custom paint, the stuff that you saw me doing today, I was talking with one of the ladies at one of the bike shops, a local bike shop, independently owned. And at the time, because it was like the early 2000s, and you saw a lot of like Orange County Chopper, Jesse James stuff, for whatever reason in this area, there was a lot of sub bike clubs where there was the actual motorcycle gang, quote unquote. And if you had a sub bike club, you had to ask permission from those people. And then I
Sure.
ended up doing screen print work for t-shirts and embroidery work for vests and things like that for these people. And I asked somebody who had more experience in this social morass than I did, have you ever belonged to a motorcycle, quote unquote, gang? And she said to me, and I believe that it's relevant here, she goes, hell no, I can make my own friends.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So
Yeah,
real quick, Gene, I bumped your thing by accident. I just gave you your wrench back. You were one of the best mods I've had, and you've actually been doing more than most. So yes, you do have your wrench back. Don't feel that you got stripped of that. I was waiting for you to show up so that way I could give it back to you.
so, what are the ABCs of having a wrench? What do you
There's a
expect?
there's a lot
What
that
do
you
you
can
expect
actually
out of
do
your
with
wrench?
that wrench. If you
Yeah,
don't know what you're doing with it, you really pay attention to chat. Don't allow weird, strange things to actually come through.
sure.
And
Most of the weird, strange things that come through are all of the people that we all know. I know. Well, I mean, like, oh, they were here before I was, and everyone's okay with everything. So, like what filter do I look through? Do I look through my I'm going to church filter, or do I look through my I've been here for 8 hours at work and I don't give a shit filter?
What's up, Meme Copium? What's going on? So let's see. We're at 25 minutes into the show. I think we should start doing some news.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I really do. I'm glad that we were able to actually sing "Happy Birthday" to your son.
No, that's
America
great.
Shirts, you missed it. You would have been able to sing with us. It was so much fun.
It was terrible. Great. It was bad rhythm, off key, and across the internet, and it's there for.
You were off key,
and I can't wait. I can't wait for him to listen to it because he's. No, wait, this is the best part. He's a music major.
So he's totally gonna love that. That's
here you go, kid. Yeah, he's like, I'm sure I can find. Yeah, this is the Jackson Pollock of happy birthday songs. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead with the news. I'm gonna leave right here.
Okay.
I'm gonna listen for a little bit and then I'm gonna bail out. Okay. But thanks for.
I'm gonna switch spots with you guys real quick here.
All right. Thanks for letting me in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cool. Thank you for joining me for the few minutes.
Yeah, sure, man. I'm the monkey bridge you needed until AmericaShirts got here.
All right, awesome. There you went.
Well, first thing.
How's it going, AmericaShirts?
Oh, it's going. It's going.
25 minutes late. What's up? Got something you want to share first?
Well, I think the first thing to look at is Nancy Pelosi trying to start a war with China.
We do international news first, and then we'll get to Nancy Pelosi. Well,
that is international.
I get that. She comes up sooner than you think. I do have a whole list. I just didn't get a chance to actually copy it all over into show setup for you so that you can see what we're going to go through. There's lots of fun, interesting, different things that have occurred in the last few days.
Fun?
Including Nancy Pelosi. Yes, that was fun. We'll get to her. I promise. There's so much to do.
Where is this stuff at?
Where's what? Oh, like I said, I didn't get a chance to actually copy all the links over to you. So.
Oh, I thought you said you copied them. Oh, well.
I didn't. I didn't get the chance to. I was busy. I was with the expert for the last 2 hours. So as far as that goes, yeah, it was a good show. Or hour and a half.
It was until I left.
Well, the thing is we actually chucked you a link to actually come join us. Yeah.
When?
You didn't. Like the last half hour. Because I'm like, hey, by the way, because he's here, do you mind? And he's like, yeah, no, absolutely, because you're my co-host, and that's why I asked for you to actually be brought in. It just didn't. You just didn't see the link, and you didn't click on it. You weren't listening to what we were saying. You didn't see my message come through chat.
I had to go away.
But it said you were still there.
It said I was still there.
Yeah. When you go over to the YouTube side and you hit the little @ button, you put in a letter, it actually shows who's all in the room. It's amazing. It's amazing how easy it is to figure out who's in the room and who's not. Well, those you put the @ and put one letter. Second letter, if you actually second letter is, and you'll know if somebody's actually around. It's very fun and very interesting. Most people don't really understand that we can actually see who is lurking. It says there's 32 people here right now. There's one over on the Twitch side, 31 sitting over here on the YouTube side. So that being said, let's get some of this done. There's quite a bit to go through because we didn't do the news the last 2 nights. Before we go, everybody make sure you check out AmericaShirtsOurFirst.com, the most base shirts on the planet.
Yeah, it's coming along. It's coming along. There's only a little bit else to do. Just a
Good. Almost there.
little
Almost
bit.
there. Hello, BLT. How's it going?
Excuse me.
Anybody that hasn't already, I like I said, I took away wrenches. I took them away for a reason, because you don't need a wrench to join us. Though I still don't have subscriber mode turned on. I'd prefer if I actually picked up some subscribers. And there's another one. Look at that, 339. We're growing, buddy. We're growing. All right, let's see here. Putin signs a new Russian naval doctrine. So it says Russian President Vladimir Putin on Sunday gave his approval to a revised naval doctrine that takes into account the change in the geopolitical and military strategic situation in the world. So here's the thing. They had a little party today where they actually they brought out their old boats. They brought out their
Oh yes, in
their
St.
submarine.
Petersburg.
Yep, they had their fun little St. Petersburg party that they throw.
That used to be the capital.
Well, yeah,
It's switched between St. Petersburg
big
and
cities
Moscow.
that used to be the capital of
Yeah.
what is now Russia. So then it says the revised doctrine outlines the main challenges and threats Russia is facing in naval sphere, namely the strategic course of the U.S. to dominate the world's oceans, and the encroachment of NATO military infrastructure toward the country's borders. Other challenges include attempts by certain nations to change the existing legal rules regulating sea routes and straits, as well as the spread of terrorism, piracy, and trafficking of highly illegal goods in the high seas. AmericaShirts on Rumble. Yes, everybody check that out. So then the way it's sounding is they're actually finally getting to that point where they're like, nah, we're sick of the United States having full run over the oceans and seas and being able to pick and choose who goes where, why, and when. They want some power. So they're actually going to the extent of actually expanding their military needs, and putting things on their boats. We're going to pull up this next article here real quick.
Putting things on their boats.
Putin reveals imminent delivery of new hypersonic missiles. The frigate
we knew that was
Admiral Gorsh will be the first vessel to be equipped with the weapons. We knew this was coming. We had done a hypersonic missile episode back, whatever, with Grimsbar and a couple others. It was a very interesting topic that we went over. It actually just seriously only talked about the hypersonic stuff, and it's really seriously something to really seriously think of, because people don't understand how it all works. So basically what the old ballistic missiles would go up, and they would have this big curve, which means they'd leave the atmosphere and they'd come back into the atmosphere, which would give enough time for radar to pick it up and shoot it down out of the air. Hypersonic took away this ability for these missiles to go up and exit the atmosphere, whereas they're able to actually traverse through the atmosphere at a lower level, at higher speeds, drop their missile off the back side of it, and launch the missile from there. So these carriers that are actually carrying the missile along with it are already going at hypersonic speeds, and then they drop it and launch again at another hypersonic speed, which gives it so much more of an ability to strike anywhere they want. Period. What are you trying to share here?
Oh, this is a meme. This is what Russia's doing in the United States.
We can't do this.
Can't do that?
I've told you this one. Nope, we can't do this one. This is where the dude comes walking out. They took it away from me the last time we did that.
Really?
Yes, that is copyrighted material.
The meme thing?
It is. It's so strange on what they actually decide to take away from you and what
There's
they
like
don't.
15,000 videos with that same thing in it.
And I know they took it from me. I'm like, why in the world did they take that from me? Hello, Susie. How's it going, dear? And I just, it just find it interesting what's actually happening in the high seas from the Russians.
Yeah.
That meme that you were showing or whatever, that's the one where the dude comes walking out. I believe it has to probably be the music that would get that struck.
I guess.
If I'm not mistaken. Yep. Because there's really intense music that he comes walking out to, and he scares the little kid.
Yes, and then the kid starts to cry, and it's all in Russian. So that's why I thought it was appropriate, because it's the Russian.
It totally would be appropriate for this particular reason. But yeah, like I said, they took it away from me once. I really just don't. I'm sick of Susan and her crap, and taking things from me. So I just kind of like, let's see if I can't get another episode in a row where I don't have to sit there and do an edit. The edits, I mean, you can do an auto edit, so it's not like I'm like taking a lot of time to do it. I'm just pushing buttons to actually get them to actually remove it. So then here's a quote that ran along with this particular article. It says the Russian armed forces will start receiving them in the coming months. The first ship equipped with the mighty weapon will be the frigate Admiral Gorshkov, in accordance to the interests of the maintaining Russian security. So they're scared. They're scared. They're actually going to this point of actually equipping their ships with this stuff. So this is the missile, which can travel at over 1,500 kilometers. That's 932 miles for all us Americans. When launched from surface ships, was first tested in 2020. 932 miles. That is quite a distance when you think about it. When you when you really get into it, you're like, dang, they can hit almost anywhere in the United States if they were in the right spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm sorry I didn't have time to actually send you the articles that we're going through here, because I know you're like, oh, I'm kind of lost. You'll have some stuff to talk about here soon, I promise. Zircon. It's known. What's known about the new Russian hypersonic missiles? Again, we've covered this. We've covered this in a particular episode. So this is, what exactly is Zircon? Officially known as the 3M22 Zircon, the new armament is sea-launched anti-ship hypersonic missile. It was first unveiled by Putin back in 2019. They tested one in January of 2020 in the northern Barents Sea. What is the missile capable of? Look at this. Mach 9, just over 11,000 kph. I don't remember what the heck that actually added up to, but faster than shit. Let's just put it that way. It's the easiest way to put it. I just after you ate, Chinese rice or whatever, just faster than that. It's just gone. Which platforms will carry new missiles? Look at this. That's the one boat that they said that would be the first, right? So it's this modern missile frigate with Russia's northern fleet. According to Putin, apart from the surface ships, the hypersonic weapons will also be deployed on Russian submarines. So we'll be able to actually not see the boat moving around before it decides to actually launch a missile. So, thank you, Alan. 7,000 miles per hour. That's fast. That's so fast. It's ridiculous. What's the operational range? There's your 932 miles. So at 932 miles, at 7,000 miles per hour, anybody want to do the math on that and actually figure out how long it's going to take for a missile to go from launch to hit?
Point A to point B at this speed. How fast would the school bus get there?
That's within seconds when you actually do the math on that. It's so fast. You're not going to see it coming. You're not going to see any of it, and then it's just you're going to be here and you're going to be gone. And that's pretty much what's going to be. And they're threatening to actually put this stuff on, all their boats, all their submarines, and they're going to actually do something, major, dramatic. Check out this guy from Doobie Brothers and the defense consultant. Maybe you want to preview that for me?
Oh,
Maybe.
mate.
Yeah, you.
Oh.
You
Let's
interested
see
in
about
doing that?
this.
Just to see what it is, see what's what kind of music, if there's music or if there's what it is. I have no clue what it is.
This classic rock legend is also a top missile defense expert. Baxter? Jeff Skunk Baxter.
Yeah, Phil. Exactly. Accurate as a shotgun. Like, it's like right on point. It's just something that. It's also top missile defense expert.
Yeah, and it's Jeff Skunk Baxter. Earned 8 platinum records in a music career that started in the 1960s. He had received numerous security clearances and contracting jobs since the 1980s. As a self-taught expert on missile defense and counter-terrorism, Baxter was one of the many luminaries at the White House on October 11th, 2018, to watch President Trump sign the Music Modernization Act, which reforms copyright laws. That's interesting. So, yeah.
I have no clue who that guy is. Period. I don't
know either.
No, just no clue. So that was pretty much what Russia was doing. Is they're actually starting to equip all their boats and submarines with these hypersonic missiles. If it's just a
Doobie
missile,
Brothers is what he says.
Oh, okay.
ID crisis.
It's just a missile, so they can put ballistic tips on it. They could put nuclear warheads on it. They could do almost anything they wanted to it, and that could be very, very threatening to almost anyone around the world. Because if something goes off, everything's going to go off. They're not going to be the only ones to push a button. The second that button's pushed, everyone's going to be like, "Oh, hit the button," and they're just going to gone. All right, let's see here. Look at that. NATO forced to alert or on alert amid Kosovo tensions.
Oh yeah, Kosovo. Yeah, that crap.
Yep. So it says units of the NATO-led, or I'm just going to skip that because they repeat that again. It says the NATO-led Kosovo force peacekeepers were spotted late on Saturday in the city of Kosovska. I'm seriously not going to read out these names. That's ridiculous. Located in the Serbia's breakaway region of Kosovo. The forces apparently Italian Carabinieri units were spotted guarding a bridge across the Iber River. Footage from the scene circulated by local media shows. The bridge splits the city into a northern Serb-populated area and the southern one, inhabited predominantly by ethnic Albanians. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, and if everybody remembers during the Cold War type era, with the Balkans being a part of all of that, and the Soviets, they have it was underneath of Yugoslavia is what it was, that whole area, and then of course they split up into their various historical kingdoms, if you will. Of course, they're not kingdoms now, but that was what they were when they were originally created. And Serbia was a big one, and Albania was also another nation. So there's several nations within that Balkan region, and of course, they have to create two nations there: Macedonia and Kosovo in the Balkans. They have to draw those out just to stir the shit, because as you just read off, it's like half of it's Albania and half of it's Serbia. So let's just get these two parts of this country, of these two nations, and just put it into one. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, they've literally created this perpetual spark by which the Balkans is to eventually set off again. I mean, that's the way, as the saying goes, the Balkans is the powder keg of Europe, because it's one of the entryways into Europe from the Middle East. So,
Okay, so it's said that there's a multitude, 20 to 30 vehicles that were headed towards a certain specific area. We're going to play the little 20-second video here real quick. You can pretty much see that it doesn't look like it's just like, there's actual military vehicles, and you can see here it says a military convoy of 30 to 40 vehicles spotted headed towards the frontier between the breakaway region and the rest of Serbia. Kosovo's special police has been spotted actively moving its equipment and personnel as well. They're actually going to do something, and it's not going to be very long before they do. Look at that. NATO occupied Kosovo in 1999 after a 78-day air war against what was then Yugoslavia. The province unilaterally declared independence in 2008 with support of the U.S. and most of its allies.
there it
The breakaway
is.
region, however, has not received universal support, with Serbia, Russia, China, and the UN as a whole not recognizing it. So they're really seriously, this is going to happen very soon. When I say very soon, I believe this article actually proves how soon it's going to actually be. This comes from the Red State. It says Serbian President Alexander claims Kosovo will attack at midnight. This article is from July 31st. Of midnight what day? The 1st. Well, if you actually live in that area, I would assume that you'd already had issues and problems.
Yeah.
Within the last few 12 hours or so. There has to be something that has already occurred that we're just not aware of. Because we are in the United States, the news won't hit us until tomorrow, even though the internet is fast as it is. I haven't seen anything yet. So then this is the Serbian president speaking to Kosovo tonight. We will ask for, but I'll tell you right away, there will be no surrender, and Serbia will win. If they try to start persecuting Serbs, bullying Serbs, killing Serbs, Serbia will win. It sounds kind of scary when you think about it. You're like, oh, really? So and here's the rest of the speech gives you a bit more idea of what is at stake. The situation for our people in Kosovo and Metohija is very complicated and complex. Many people have reduced their attitude towards Kosovo and Metohija to sloganeering, in which they say Kosovo is Serbia. and that's all. But I don't think we have ever been in more complex or difficult situation than we are today. They made a decision to impose things they have no right to impose, preliminary on the people in the north of Kosovo and Metanesia. In advance, they sent their units with 21 tons of fuel and everything else to the administrative crossings of I can't I just can't pronounce these. There's a couple little cities there. These ones here, with a desire to stop all of these or all of those who have Serbian identity cards. All this should start tonight at midnight, while at the same time they will be convincing the Serbs to give up KM plates, which is Kosovo Metanesia plates. So something had to have already happened that we're not understanding quite yet, and it sounds like there's one thing leads to another. Kosovo, Serbia, Ukraine is Russia. Good one, ID. Yeah, when it comes down to it, it's the Russia actually had, USSR had actually broke up, and they actually split it into these other countries, creating places like Ukraine. And now it seems as though there's something that's happening that's actually turning things back around, and it may not be a good thing for us. It may not be a good thing for us at all, because if they're actually willing to go and take out these countries that they allowed to be created after the breakup, and they're trying to go back to it, it could be very dangerous. Be very dangerous for lots of areas. Again, okay, so one more thing that had to do with international news before we move ourselves into the States here. And it's this one. Hezbollah issues warning to Israel. Lebanon's Hezbollah militant group has posted a video suggesting that Israel's offshore natural gas industry will come under attack unless the Jewish state resolves a maritime border dispute with Beirut. The group posted a video on Sunday showing a drone footage of vessels and production platforms involved in tapping Israel's massive offshore gas deposit. The video also showed coordinates for each location featured. It began with words from the recent speech of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, warning that playing with time is not useful. According to the video, the footage was shot on Saturday, the 9th of June. So, I mean, this article isn't from that long ago. This article, look at that. There's the 31st of July. Just saying. So tensions have been rising for a while, and now they're finally getting to the point of where they actually want to do something.
اللعب بالوقت غير مفيد.
Shit. You're not going to be able to listen to it because we're not going to understand it unless you're from that area and you know how to speak what they're speaking. But you can see the coordinates. You see they're aiming at these large ships that actually, Look, there's another one. Very, very large ships that they're actually targeting, and it's with drones. It could be very scary. Yeah, look at that, Phil. Allen, yeah. Joe Tato and the Commie-crats have done a great job at destabilizing the entire world in just 18 months. Damn it. Exactly. We weren't in this issue at all. There was nothing close to any of this happening whatsoever. There was peace. the the predecessor had done a lot to actually bring peace through these regions, and Joe Tato comes in, Dic-tato, as I put him on the card on that thumbnail. When it comes down to it, that's the issue. That's the issue in all. Is the guy
The
that's sitting
way
there is the president of the United States of America.
the way that they have destabilized the world, some would consider it to be unnatural.
Right?
Darth Hideous knows what I'm talking about. After all, I'm quoting him, right? Oh no, it's Sidious.
All right. What's oh, I had this one out of place. This is about Putin. And it says that he's dying in agony from terminal cancer,
Oh
says
my
a Pentagon
god.
source. I'm not
Yeah,
going to read the article.
I love
It's
how
not.
Putin wasn't dying until he invaded Ukraine. Now all of a sudden he's dying. Like, I love this.
They're like, oh, that's why he's doing it, is because he's terminal right now, and
So
he
he just
needs
like
to
came
do
up with it.
something to make himself feel better.
Right,
It's
like
like,
if he was actually that way, they would have told you
come on.
beforehand that that was true, and then it would have been. But no, no, like it's just all of a sudden now. Oh, now he's terminally ill. Doesn't work like that, folks. I mean, I know Ukraine is very corrupt, and some might say is cursed, but not that cursed.
Okay. So there's your international news. If there's anything else that somebody thinks that we should have covered, sorry we didn't. Throw some links around, especially the ones that are in Discord. Go ahead, throw some links and some news that you feel that we should actually cover and that we should actually read through, and we'll gladly do so. We'll gladly do so without an issue. So here's a Blaze Media. It says videos from the same day seem to show Biden looking very different, and people have questions. You can see. Look at these. They look similar. They do, but to me, it looks like he's standing in front of the same thing, but you can see his different tie, different color shirt. It's like, yeah, I get it. You change your clothes after you shit your pants. So, you know, yeah,
The normal human being blinks their eyes 15 to 20 times in a minute. On the other hand, there's Joe Biden. I mean, they had to give him.
The D.C. Metropolitan Police, other law enforcement agencies were.
Sorry.
Oh no, play
You,
it. I mean,
okay,
just
you
again,
ready?
just as a refresher.
The D.C. Metropolitan Police, other law enforcement agencies were attacked and assaulted before our very eyes, speared, sprayed, stomped on, brutalized. And lives were lost. And for 3 hours, the defeated former President of the United States watched it all happen as he sat in the comfort of the private dining room next to the Oval Office. While he was doing that, brave law enforcement officers were subject to the medieval hell for 3 hours.
Not
34
a single
seconds.
time.
Not
in
a
30
single.
Not
Right,
one
exactly.
blink. They had to
It's like,
inject him with some crazy shit.
what
Because
did
you
they
can hear
give
his
the
voice.
guy?
He's like he's half dead, or he's so freaking. He coughs and hacked so much that his. It was like that when he woke up.
And JC says crack is whack. Yeah, exactly. His stuff does some interesting stuff to people. So it says here's 20 seconds of pre-recorded speech Joe Biden gave yesterday. Take a look at how much the White House edited it. I did not edit this in any way. Dang it.
Oh, did it jump to another?
It jumped over to the Twitter side of things.
Twitter. Well, of course, it's Ben Shapiro. Got to give him the view. Can't just play that somewhere else now.
This law does so much more. It saves lives, including yours. It'll help you do your job, but it's just a start. Last week, I rolled out my Safer America plan with the goal of doing 3 key things. First, take additional common sense steps to reduce gun crimes and violence. This law does so much more. It saves lives, including yours. It'll help you do your job, but it's just a start. Last week, I rolled out my Safer America plan with the goal of doing 3 key things. First, take additional common sense steps to reduce gun crimes and violence.
So the video isn't about the content of the crap that he said. It really seriously comes down to you seen all the little glitches. You've seen all the little
Constant
things that have
edits.
happened. Constant edit throughout the whole 20 seconds.
I mean, it's worse than some like freaking
Now-
YouTube short.
Right now,
It's like jammed together like
if you're
10
like
different things.
me and you pay attention to everything that comes out of the White House, everything that comes out of Congress, everything that comes out of the House and the Senate, everything. Every little thing that comes out, I watch it. I pay attention to it. I listen to Kieran Jean-Pierre come out and talk crap that she doesn't know how to talk. I've watched everything that comes from Joe Biden. This speech was edited. It was edited for clarity so that you knew what he was actually trying to say, as opposed to hearing the rumbles and all the misstepped words that he actually screwed up. They edited it so bad that you seriously wouldn't, if you actually paid attention to the original as it came out, you'd see that that's not how that video actually was. It was one single camera slowly moving in and out and in and out, not like that. Nowhere near that at all. This is the most ridiculous. Dic-tato needs to actually stop it. I seriously, the video is ridiculous. You and your United Spot.
Joe, what's on your head? It's my banana booster. A banana booster? Yeah, it's for banana pox. Did you say banana pox? Listen here. You can't make a bird swim if a fish don't want to think. It's geometry.
He doesn't blink in this either.
If you take an apple and put it next to a pencil, you've created something like mayonnaise on a cracker. Joe, you have to blink. Hey, gas prices are just as smart and just as talented as Afghanistan. What about inflation? Look, here's the deal. End of quote. Repeat the line. Joe, blink. Look, I once wrestled a giraffe right to the ground with my bare hands. No, you didn't, Joe. I climbed Mount Everest and landed on the moon. Joe, what's 2 plus 2? See here, 2 plus 2, add the 4, carry the 6, decimal point, 2 plus 2 is, 22. What's the capital of Delaware? Cincinnati, WKRP. Joe, who's the president of the United States? That guy on TV. He plays a man. He was a guy in that movie with the girl. Joe, if you had 3 apples, how many apples would you have? Let's see here. If I had 4 apples. I said 3 apples, Joe. All right, sorry. If I had 6 apples. Joe, I said 3 apples. Okay, good. You said you had 3 apples.
No blinking yet.
Anyways, see what the teleprompter has to say. All right, it says Joe blank. All right, done. All right, say goodnight to everyone, then walk off stage. To properly walk off stage, put one foot in front of the other while balancing. Repeat this until you're off stage. End quote.
That's exactly end quote.
Here's the thing. End quote. Repeat the line.
So we got to go back to that article. I wish that Ben Shapiro wasn't
Put
such
a
a
pencil and an apple
ridiculous
together.
person.
You've created something like mayonnaise on a cracker.
So all of this, all of these speeches, this first one from Greg Kelly, this one here from Ben Shapiro, and this other one down here are all from the same exact day. Oh, there's supposed to be, yeah. See, this one was posted a day later, but they were all from the same day's speeches. He came out several different times. He was already
Oh no, Phil, I'm
sick.
fine with that. It's the United Spot that did that. Not this, but the previous one.
Yeah, that previous one. That was the United Spot. Everybody check out the United Spot. They actually do that themselves. It's very good.
Do yourself
funny,
a favor.
laughable stuff. Yeah, just do it. Just subscribe to it.
Folks, as we fight inflation,
and like I said, it's not really about what he says. We can totally take that off of there. We don't need to hear what he's saying. Just look at the guy. Look how different he looks compared to the first two videos.
He actually has some kind of color.
Right. He has some kind of color. Look, you can see the surgery. The skin tuck to actually pull his face nice and taut so that he didn't look like he was a flabby old man.
Yeah.
Just so you can get the point.
And of course the eyes, right?
So
and there's the comparison.
Look at the comparison.
Folks, as we fight inflation, you can't be pro-insurrection and pro-cop. Bringing down gas prices is a big part of the job. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-democracy. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-American. And here's the good news. Gas prices...
It's not the same person.
Insurrection.
Look at the two people. Look. Look. Look closer. You see that? You see the difference between the two? Is this the same guy?
That's what everybody's asking.
Every day this summer. That's more than 40 days in a row. Donald Trump lacked the courage to act. We now have 40,000 gas stations in the United States where the price of gas is $3.99 or less. The brave women and men all across this nation should never forget that.
You put a
That's
pencil
what we're saying.
and an apple together.
All these
you got
it
something
was
like
all the
mayonnaise
same
on
day.
cracker.
Yes, he supposedly changed his clothes because that's what presidents do. Is they wear multiple.
Lizard person, a lizard potato is the emoji.
Where are we? We're an hour in. So we kind of break into some Congress stuff here. So it says Senator Ron Johnson expects a deal to conceal Hunter Biden's indictment. Again, this is today's news. This isn't anything that's all that old. This come out today.
Welcome back to Unfiltered. Folks, it's been a really bad week for the FBI and their buddies, Joe and Hunter Biden. Here's a quick recap. In just days, we've learned that the FBI intentionally labeled the Hunter Biden laptop evidence as disinformation. And some of the agents involved in that were the same agents involved in pushing the Russia collusion hoax. Can it get any worse? Then we learned the FBI may have worked to inflate the domestic terrorism stats. You know, domestic terrorists, those pesky parents at school board meetings and all. So it turns out the FBI and the Biden family may have been working together here. Same intentions. Here to weigh in is Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. Senator, thanks for joining us. You know, early on, you were briefed in August of 2020 by the FBI about being the target of Russian disinformation. I remember you on cable news talking about this. You think you were the victim of a possible setup there?
I knew at the time, and I know now. They finally leaked that. I think they ran a story in the Washington Post about 6 or 7 months later. But again, I knew it at the time. Haven't we always known this?
Yeah.
We've known that the Bidens are a corrupt family for years. Our report, Chuck Grassley and my report, proved it conclusively.
This guy,
then we had the laptop. Then we had Tony Bob.
This guy right here is the only senator that sat with all of those doctor people that got kicked off of social media because of their opinions on Koof and jabs. They had a hearing type of a deal. He was the only senator sat at the front of the room and listened to every single freaking one of them. And he made time for everyone to be able to speak. These were accredited individuals. These are people that are very high-level people that have worked with government, outside of government, major pharmaceutical industry people as well. All of them against lockdown stuff, against Koof jabs stuffs, had their own opinions about it. And he's the only one that sat with any of them. This guy. So this guy deserves a hell of a lot of credit. So anyways.
Zelensky, but the problem we've had is the complicit and corrupt mainstream media has been covering it all up. And now we learn that even the FBI was covering up. It doesn't surprise me. It's shocking. It's outrageous. But it certainly explains why 51 intelligence officials would also seek to cover this thing up. I mean, Dan, this is a massive, massive scandal that, once again, the complicit, corrupt media is just pretty much shrugging. Only Fox News, only these types of outlets are really covering this.
Senator, I get this question a lot from listeners to the radio show and viewers to this show. They'll message me and say, how bad is it over there at the FBI? Is it systemic? Is it a management issue? And what's it going to take to fix it? Your thoughts on that?
It's going to need new leadership, and I think it's becoming systemic at the top. Again, I think most FBI agents have integrity. They need to come forward. You know, God bless the whistleblowers that contacted Chuck Grassley and started blowing the whistle on this corruption. But Christopher Wray certainly didn't fix the problem. You know, the FBI knew as early as October 2016, certainly by 2017, the Steele dossier was dirty. It was corrupted by Russian disinformation. And yet in March of 2008, under the leadership of Christopher Wray, the FBI briefed the Senate Intel Committee, said, oh, no, the Steele dossier has integrity. They allowed the Mueller investigation to go forward. So, no, this is a thoroughly corrupt organization. You know, we had that briefing that was a setup. But again, this is just the tip of the iceberg, I fear.
Yeah. Senator, the explosive report by the New York Post this week essentially confirming President Biden is the big guy, as Tony Bobolinsky, the business partner of the Biden deal, had said a long time ago.
We have this.
This is really this
levels of information here, ladies and gentlemen. The phone, all 3 laptops, all the devices that were connected to the iCloud account, all of them say, and not only inference this, but directly now say and call him out as, quote, the big guy. He is the guy who gets the 10% of everything. That's fact.
Reporting.
That's not debated anymore. Anybody that's looked at any of this thoroughly will tell you. And again, that includes everything. I mean, like, there's an inference to it for damn sure. But now it's like, it's not even an inference. It's just a direct correlation. Like, it's literally, it's not even a correlation. What the hell? Like, they literally just call him that. Like, it's right there on the page with these text messages, with all the rest of this stuff that came out. And so this is what I'm talking about.
To call it explosive may be an understatement. We
have to push for
what could be done about this? Where do we go with this? Is this going to further your investigation?
Congress has to step up.
Well, first of all, how much more evidence do we need? The laptop is a treasure trove. You know, the media is just, I call it modified limited hangout. They barely admit that some of these emails may be genuine. No, they're all genuine. They all show corruption and criminal activity. The only way this is going to break through, though, is that the mainstream media gets shamed into covering it. But again, they are complicit and they're corrupt themselves.
I got about a minute left, but one quick follow-up. Do you think there's potential that the mainstream media finds Joe Biden useless because of his low poll numbers and turns on Joe Biden and finally opens up about this to get him out of office?
Oh, that's pretty much our prediction. I think my other prediction is that they may indict Hunter Biden, but they'll probably seal. They'll do a deal. They'll seal all the information. The American public will never get the full truth.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of, too. Senator Ron Johnson, thanks for your work in this case. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Yep. And so this is what I mean. It's like, and I see people in the chat, they're like, oh, the FBI is corrupt. They're not going to do anything about it. Nobody's good. Congress has to do something about this. And see, again, even if we don't get Joe on like the laptop stuff, at least bring it up. At least get the conversation started. I mean, that's just like if you know somebody committed murder. Well, if you don't want to charge them with murder in the first degree, can we at least start with the third degree and then work our way up? Like, hello, like let's get this thing moving. Like, get him in the courtroom. Get the impeachment process started. Like, somebody has to do. We got to stand up and do something about this, because obviously he's compromised by the Chinese, obviously by the deep state people, other individuals as well. And of course, as I've said before, he's destroying the infrastructure. He's destroying the power grid. He's destroying, the food, the borders. I mean, all of that is violations well above and beyond what he should be impeached for. Him and really his entire administration. But then you have all of this evidence from all the Apple devices. I mean, the laptops, the phones, and all of the iCloud, 43 different devices. We have enough to start. We have enough witty and intelligent congressmen and women in there now to at least start the conversation, to at least get it out, to force it out into the public light, where even on mainstream press, they're going to have to go, crazy conspiracy theorist person from Utah says that a congressman from Utah says that Biden is the big guy or whatever, and like they just play the clip of him asking for money. Play the audio of him asking for money on the House floor. It's like it's so simple.
JC said it about right. He's like, a rhino Congress will never do anything. Susie says all politicians are swarmy freaks. They're all in it for themselves and their buddies. And really what it comes down to is that. And that's why everything has been set aside. They're not paying attention to it. They're like, it's okay. We'll just let it go. It doesn't matter. It really does matter. It really does, because when it comes down to it, we are very much compromised at this point.
And I'm not saying it's going to happen right this second.
Dic-tato.
I mean, if go back and listen to what I've been talking about. You got to get the conversation started. And then when you get more good people in November, then you really get the ball rolling. But now's the time to take this while we have the momentum. Don't let them distract with anything else with like, oh my God, Trump is being prosecuted now. And oh no, this person's being prosecuted. Oh, Donald Trump Jr. next, right? Like they're going to come up with something else. God only knows, right? I mean, you've got to take the ball now. You've got to take it while we have the momentum. They are on their back foot. Politically, we have to push forward. We have to keep pushing. And this is one of the ways to do it. And then when we get the actual good people into Congress after this next election, we get a ton of good people in, we can really start to move this ball down in this direction. That's what I keep saying. We have to impeach him now.
Hold on. Somebody said something in chat that I thought was, if you want to be a politician, you should be allowed to... What? If you want to be a politician, you shouldn't be allowed to be a politician. Yeah, that's a good point. It really is. Here, we'll move on here. Joe Manchin not committing to supporting Democrats or President Biden.
Yeah, but he is committed to supporting the part of the Build Back Better. Yay. He's a total cuck to them. I mean, and again, it really is not even a cuck. He's
Rhino.
What's
that?
I guess. I mean, because everybody keeps saying like, I mean, at the beginning there, people were like, why doesn't Joe Manchin just turn over to the Republican Party? Why doesn't he just become a Republican? I heard tons of people on the quote unquote conservative side of the aisle say this. And I'm like, because this guy has always been a Democrat hack. Right. He's always been trying to play both sides of the issue. I mean, he'll take pictures with people who will be pro-life and pro-abortion. And he'll be like, yeah, I support this. And then take a picture and like, yeah, I support this. He'll take another picture. It's like he wants to play both sides, and he wants to get the best from both worlds, because he still thinks that the people of his state that he represents are still brainwashed hillbilly freakos that are inbred, and he's going to be their leader. And, don't worry, he's smarter than the rest of them. You need your Build Back Better.
So the Democrat West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin has been a thorn in the side of the party for a long time, and now he's not committing to wanting the Democrats to win at the midterms. Do you hope Democrats keep control of the House and Senate? Um, Host Chuck Todd said to him from Meet the Press on Sunday, I think people are sick and tired of politics, Chuck. I really do. I think they're sick and tired of Democrats and Republicans fighting and feuding and holding pieces of legislation hostage because they didn't get what they wanted, or something, or someone might get credit for something. Why don't we start doing something for our country? Why don't we just say, this is good for America? I've always said the best politics is good government. Do something good, Chuck. But I'm not going to predict what's going to happen.
And this is him
I'm
trying
not
to play both
asking.
sides of the aisle here, right? Like, because this
Right,
is what
exactly.
everybody, this is what like your average, sort of, blue collar worker individual is just kind of not, that's not paying attention to what's really going on because they're so busy trying to, give their family food and crap. And it's like, well, I'm just sick, tired of playing politics, whatever, blah, blah. It's like you're the biggest player of politics there is because you keep trying to play both sides. You keep out of one side of your mouth, you appeal to normal people, and then the other side of your mouth, you're like, yeah, okay, we'll take this Build Back Better thing, and yeah, okay, I'll take this funding from the Democrats, and I'll say this about Trump, or I'll say this about this other individual, or whatever. Because the state that he's representing, West Virginia, is one of the biggest Trump states
Sup,
there is.
expert?
So, I mean,
Hello,
he
everybody
just
else that
keeps
we
trying
haven't
to
been
have
hitting
it both
on.
ways.
Sorry, it's the news. We're just doing our thing. Um, so then here's the host. He says, "I'm not asking you to predict. What results do you want? Do you want the Democrats to keep control of the United States Senate, the House of Representatives?" The senator says, I'm not making those choices or decisions on that. I'm going to work with whatever I have. I've always said that. I think the Democrats have have great candidates that are running. They're good people I've worked with, and I have tremendous amount of respect and friendship with my Republican colleagues, so I can work on either side very easily. Yeah, sure you can. So
Oh,
then
that's what
Chuck
he
says,
always says.
"You don't care about the outcome this year of the election?" He says, "Whatever the voters choose, I can decide what's going to happen in Kansas or California or Texas. I really can't. I've always taken the approach, whoever you send me, that's your representative, and I respect them. And I respect the state for the people they send, and I give it my best to work with them, to do the best for my country. I don't play the politics that way. I don't like it that way. That's not who I am." This this bot is pissing me off. This is the third time that I've seen this. I'm going to see if I can't add it to the blocked list in the back in a few seconds here. So then it says, if Biden is renominated by the party, will you support him? Everybody's worried about the elections. What's the problem? This is a simple question, the host says. No, I'm not getting involved in that. You can't even rule out voting for a Republican for president. I'm not getting into 2024 election. That's all. He's not getting into it. We're not going to finish the article. He's saying he's not going to get into it. Are you kidding me right now?
Exactly.
You
See,
think
see
he's
what I
not
mean?
going to
Like
get
he
into
just
it?
keeps playing both sides because he doesn't want the people that he represents in his state to, look like that. He's a super pro Biden and pro Democrat and everything else. But at the same time, he doesn't want the Democrat people to think that he's appealing too much to the other side. So he has to swing and play both sides of this because the people of
This is
West
why I say
Virginia.
you think he's not going to get into it. Oh, look at that possible Mansion sent him a ticket for 2024.
Oh, that's his horse shit.
Mm.
But I mean, the people of his state, they voted very strongly for FDR and for JFK. Of course, they did go along with some Republicans, but because of the instilled poverty in that state, and that has over time become the case, unfortunately, with the state basically being a giant mountain ghetto for the Democrat Party. Uh, I mean, that's pretty much what it turned itself, what they turned it into. The Democrat Party turned it into, because we love you, we care for you, we're this, we're that, whatever, like all the lies that have always been, when they're the exact opposite, and they run the place into the ground and then take all the money and run. I mean, that's what it all is. It's nothing but a scam. And so finally, they've kind of woken up to this, but there's still a lot of the elderly population of, and I mean, West Virginia is not the only state that has people that think like this, but they're just more numerous, because a lot of the people that are born in some of these Appalachian regions, uh, they don't want to stay there oftentimes, because they're brainwashed into thinking that if they move to some giant big city, it's going to be fantastic. So they go off to some giant huge city, like in DC or someplace else in close proximity, like, I don't know, like Roanoke or some of these other places. And they'll move off to there. Meanwhile, Tim Pool goes from those places and moves to West Virginia. Uh, but yeah, I mean, these people, there's still a lot of the elderly population there from way back when that still thinks that there's something good about the Democrat Party. And so they get Manchin in, or they like this person, or they like whatever little Democrat, because we don't like to align too much with one party or another. But more and more now, we're seeing where that group of people are being outnumbered by all the people that actually have a brain on their head, in their head, and a head, head on their shoulders and a brain in that head. That it can actually see things as they are, which is, the Dems want to destroy all semblance of energy production within that state. Because again, there's a lot of fracking that can be done in the state, and there's a lot of coal, obviously, second largest producer of coal in the country, that comes from that state. Oh, and before I move on to this, I wanted to bring up, speaking of that, just to show how much he is out of touch with his own, constituency there. This is something that I posted on Twitter. I went on a couple of different things on this, where the West Virginia uh, treasurer, the treasurer of West Virginia, he went on to the Glenn Beck show, and he talked about how he has barred, and oh, do I have this shared? Yeah, I have this sharing up there.
There you go.
Want to pull that up. He is
Hit your
now
control button, scroll in the type. There you go.
He's now barred 5 financial institutions from all contracts in that state over their commitment to the ESG score thing. And that's the environmental, social, and governance score. That's like the social credit. That's like the beginnings of the social credit score system that the corporate state and the government, of course, want to combine and put together. This is what the WEF is doing. I mean, this is what Jack Posobiec talks about when he says they want to implement the Chinese social credit score system and tyranny into the United States. And and when he says that, he's referring to the WEF. He says the WEF wants to install the Chinese version of government into the West. Then that's what they want to do through their corporate heads and through all of this, involvement with the government and so forth. And so this guy has blocked BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, and Wells Fargo. And I don't know if you want me to play this 2-minute clip or not of him talking about it, but I mean, that's pretty much all that he goes into.
We can't, because they're just going to take it from me. There's no point in even trying. It's so ridiculous.
In my tweets here, I said West Virginia is rocking now. They have one of the single largest podcasts in the world set up there, Tim Pool. The Attorney General there fights everything that Obama's administration and the previous one has done bad. The state treasurer has barred 5 financial institutions because they commit to ESG. And if I can go back here to my other posts. West Virginia has constitutional carry, open for convention of states, and I talked about how they need to bring in some more fracking and their infrastructure there. And the other thing about the state too, if you look at this, has as well the latest West Virginia versus EPA went up in front of the Supreme Court and stopped the EPA from implementing carbon emission bans by fiat, hindering the Great Reset from being implemented across the country. West Virginia saved the freaking country from being forced underneath of an EPA rule to ban carbon emissions. Now, it's not to say that they won't try this other ways. Again, obviously, Joe Biden is there like, oh, we have a national emergency. But because the people of the state of West Virginia hate this so much, and because their attorney general has fought this clear up to the Supreme Court against the EPA, that's what happened. They blocked it, and now the whole country doesn't have to stand underneath of it. So Joe Manchin trying to play both sides of this is not working. His state is moving ultra MAGA like a bat out of you know where. I mean, they have woken up to the Dems and they are like, screw these people. And they are just going full ultra MAGA, ultra dark MAGA mode here. And they are just completely abandoning the Democrat Party entirely. And Joe Manchin just wants to sit there and act like he can play both sides. Honey, the Build Back Better agenda of the Great Reset, that's not flying in that state of West Virginia anymore. So he can go on TV all he wants and like play both sides of the aisle and do all he wants to, but he knows he is done for in the next election cycle for him. He is toast.
Check this. This is good move, Koolfrogg. You really have to protect your stream. It's really sucks, but you and Shirts are doing it smart. Good job. Divinity says, please do not feed the frog.
Divinity's the person that holds the sign, don't feed the frogs.
See? LOL, you fed the frog.
Oh, there you go. There's somebody in the chat. Tweety U.S. News. All caps, West Virginia is done with the BS. They are. They really are. You know, that was the last straw for those people in that area. Because again, like I said, you look at the demographics, there's a lot of old people that are there, and a lot of the people that get born there in the state, they want to try to flee and move out. But now you're seeing the opposite take place now, especially after Biden's come in, and especially after the 2020 bullshit that was going on. You just see this move of ultra MAGA, and people are just done with it in that area. And they're just, I mean, it doesn't even matter that, you know, some of these older people are like, yeah, but I like the Dems. I remember when there was FDR and JFK, and they was not, well, first off, FDR was a hack, and he was a big banking hack. Again, he sits there and, you know, like all the Democrats do, we're against the big corporations from taking advantage of you. And then he just takes all the money and goes from the big corporations, and he's their freaking prostitute. He prostitutes himself, and then, you know, big corporations come in and just use him, and then they just get whatever they want, and he gets whatever he wants for the money. And I think people are really beginning to wake up to this kind of reality. I know some of the older people might not in these demographics in these areas, and like I said, it's not just simply West Virginia. There's places in Tennessee where people still think this way. Obviously, there's some places in some of the places in the Deep South as well. Well, not to say that West Virginia is a Deep South place, but as you go down south, there's places that have been Democrat for a long time, and everything is flipping in the other direction. And so this is a growing trend, and it specifically as it pertains to Joe Manchin. I mean, he's not, his election is done. He's done for. To be quite honest, within a year and a half or 2 years of him being in office, he was done, because he started compromising then. So it was over. And of course, it's not really compromising for him because he was always in with it with all the people. I mean, you look at his daughter, who has one of the biggest, or is it the biggest thing for EpiPens? Isn't she the holder of the company of EpiPens in the nation? And
No.
she price gouges the hell out of that shit and all the rest of it, and everybody just looks the other way. And I mean, like, there's all kinds of corruption with that. And yeah, everybody's just like, oh, but he's an old school blue dog Democrat. He loves me. Well, first off, none of the blue dog Democrats loved you at all, ever. They're all horse shit. The only Democrat that was worth a shit was JFK, and then of course they had to do what they had to do to him. So then he was out. So I mean, you know, the one oddity in the Democrat Party as it pertains to the presidency, of course, there were several good Democrats. I will admit that there have been several good Democrats in the past, but the majority
Joe
of them was awful.
4771 says to suggest that the South is blue is disinformation.
Oh, I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying there's like pockets of little places where there are people that still hold to that, like, you know, oh, but the Democrats, these blue dog people, these worker people, the unions, and then the unions still give to the Democrat Party as their union base votes Republican. And so it's like the unions have never been on your side. They've never been for you. They've been funding arms for the Democrats to get in their revolutionary idea bullshit to try to overturn the Constitution. I mean, people, you have to wake up to this, and I think a lot of people are. And though there might still be some of these really old fogey people that still think that kind of way in some of these places where they're kind of isolated, and they still kind of think like, you know, they still have like a picture of, you know, FDR hanging on their wall and be like, oh, he gave me my Social Security and whatever. It's like, yeah, Social Security shit. Sorry, we're not going to get Social Security. You know that. Like, people who are younger, you're not getting anything. Like, that's done. Like, that was just a ploy. Like, that was stupid. Like, it was never going to work. So, I mean, these people in these areas, more and more of the younger people that are still there, and some of the more middle-aged people that are there, they're all awake, and they're beginning to outnumber the other individuals. Like I said, I know a lot of the younger people, like I said, are brainwashed by schools and by everything else to leave these areas and to be like, oh yeah, go to all these big cities. But we're seeing a lot of more middle-aged people that are still there, that are taking over for a lot of these older sort of, I believe in the blue dog Democrat types. And they're fully awake to this. And they're like, Mom, Dad, like, you all are freaking batshit. You believed these people. They're nothing but lying hacks. And they're just full blown awake. They're like Alex Jones mode at this point. I mean, so Joe Manchin is not in touch with the people of his constituency. We'll just put it that way. Not at all in touch with the people in his constituency. And the only reason that I talk about it is because Joe Manchin is on the TV all the time. Everybody's constantly like, oh, but Joe, don't you support this? Oh, but Joe, don't you support this? Oh, but Joe, don't you support this? Oh my God. Oh my God, Joe Manchin. You're supposed to, well, I think he should be a Republican. Like, no, he's not. He's a Dem trying to play to both sides of the aisle. And when it comes to the really, really big issues like Build Back Better and the Great Reset, there he is, marching in lockstep. Now, sure, he didn't want it to be too much. He tried to play both sides there, but ultimately, he was like, okay, sure. Yeah, I'll do the Great Reset shit as long as you take out some of the other stuff that will make me look bad to my constituency. Just make it look really good when I vote for it. And that's all he is. And that's all he's ever been. He's completely out of touch. And all these people on the conservative side of the aisle need to stop giving him any amount of credence. He's a liar. He's a fraud. And he always has been. As a matter of fact, he was the governor of that state when his daughter was doing all that finagly shit too. And I mean, and that was a load of horse shit. And so, I mean, it's all bogus crap. It's all crap. It's all garbage. So he is not in touch with any of these people. And there's a couple of congressional districts in more southern states. As you go down into the South, there's a couple of them that are still blue that aren't within cities. Just a couple, not very many. And that's the type of thing where it's like, you know, there's a lot of an older population and they still have this FDR symbol in their head of what the Democrat Party is, or a JFK symbol in their head of what the Democrat Party is. And none of that's true. So they're moving on up, and they're moving over to the Republican side of the aisle.
So
And Joe Manchin can say whatever he wants. We all know
47
who he is.
people watching us right now. There's only 35 likes. Don't forget to hit the like button. I know I took away wrenches. I see there's people that are still asking about it. I did it on purpose. There was too many people that had the power to do whatever they wanted, and there were some people that really didn't and shouldn't have had them. Without them, there's this thing that allows you to actually view everything when you're not a subscriber, and there's lots of things that you can do. I really just didn't want that to happen and have them just go through and wreck my show because they're like, oh, I got a wrench. Again, I'm sorry if you feel bad about it. Come hit me up privately somehow. Join Discord, something or other. Talk to me. Let me know how you feel, and hey, I might just give it back to you. Just saying. Let's move on here. So, leftists really don't like Lauren Boebert's proposal for more time to read bills before voting on them. Go figure, right? Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Colorado Republican Lauren Boebert has a stellar idea. Lawmakers should do their job, but it would appear that many leftists have an issue with this. You'd think being an elected member of Congress would involve a lot of reading, seen as how the proposed bills often affect the people they serve directly. But you'd be absolutely wrong. The number of things lawmakers don't read is pretty shocking. They just vote yes or no and call it a day. To put how scary this is into perspective, in 2021, over 9,800 bills were submitted to Congress. 85 of those bills were signed into law. Some of them had extremely large price tags, and it's safe to say that many elected officials didn't even read them before voting on them. Also, in 2021, Forbes noticed the hesitance of politicians to even talk about having to read the bill, noting that if politicians weren't reading bills, then we don't really have a representative republic. It's a
You
problem.
don't say.
Yeah, exactly. It's a problem. Even New York Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sees an issue and spoke out about it after House Rules Committee Chairman James McGovern refused to hand out paper copies of the 5,593-page bill to pass the $1.4 trillion COOF relief bill. This is why Congress needs time to actually read this package before voting on it. Members of Congress have not read this bill. It's over 5,000 pages. Arrived at 2 o'clock today, and we are told to expect a vote within the next 2 hours. It was one of the few times she and Ted Cruz agreed on anything. Boebert took to social media to upload a public proposal, including restoring certain rules that would make it the people's house instead of Pelosi's house, where she will no longer be able to function as a super legislator. She has suggested reinstating the Holman Rule, which would allow legislation to reduce the salary or fire specific federal employees.
You mean balancing the budget rule? Because if you spend more, well, then you obviously can't hire more people.
Well, yeah, that too. So then Boebert then proposed something that should be common sense, introducing bills in the dead of night and then demanding they be voted on in that day needs to come to an end. And she proposed a minimum of 5 days between the bill's introduction to the vote on it. She also noted that if the bill was an emergency and needed to be passed immediately, then it should require a 2/3 vote. She also suggested earmarks be banned once more. Hey, you want to hear?
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, and I'm proud to serve as the Communications Chair for the House Freedom Caucus, the most influential and conservative group on Capitol Hill. Recently, the Freedom Caucus released an outline detailing how Republicans should restore Congress in the wake of Nancy Pelosi's catastrophic reign. While it's a little in the weeds, these reforms will ensure Republicans better represent their constituents and that Congress functions as it was intended. First, Freedom Caucus members are calling on reforms to the House rules. The U.S. Congress is a self-governing body, so these rule changes would literally change the way Congress functions. Simply put, Congress should once again function as the people's house, not Pelosi's house. That means ending proxy voting, being able to see how legislation will change
Pause there for
existing
just a
law
second.
before voting.
Proxy, that is a load of horse shit, unconstitutional, and that should be grounds for removal from the House. Proxy voting, that is a load of garbage. They tried to do that at mass with Koof and just say like they all they needed was like 5 representatives because everybody on the Democrat side was going to be like, oh yeah, sure, like we'll just give our votes over and we'll just say that this person can vote on our behalf, and there's going to be like 3, 4, 5 people on the House floor for the Dem side, and then Nancy Pelosi at the top of the gavel, and then a couple of Republicans. It's like, but what the hell's the use for the damn House? So that's just, yeah, goodbye with that shit. Proxy voting, the hell with that. So go ahead.
Voting on it, requiring a vote to suspend the debt ceiling, and restoring the motion to vacate the chair.
Anani says, does anyone read the bills? Yes, sometimes they actually do.
Yeah, they have to get a whole damn team together, like 50 people.
Right.
And they all have to go
the
through like
last time
1,000
I
pages
remember
each.
them actually reading it out loud because somebody actually pushed it to actually be where the secretary actually had to read it. And it took 3 of them like most of the day to actually go through the whole bill. So yeah, sometimes they do. There's a lot of times that they don't.
The Speaker should be accountable to the members of the House, not protected like a super legislator. Second, we're calling for the Holman Rule to be reinstated. This would enable members to make targeted spending cuts in appropriations bills by slashing salaries of individual employees. Want to see Dr. Fauci or any deep state bureaucrat for that matter have their salary be reduced to, say, $1 per year? Then tell your representative to support the Holman Rule. Third, the practice of bringing forward bills in the dead of night and voting on them the same day has to stop. No more of Pelosi's vote for it to find out what's in it madness. Members should have 5 days to read and consider bills before voting on them. If it's an emergency and needs to be passed immediately, the bill should require 2/3 support. And fourth, ban earmarks. For the last decade, this corrupt way of buying votes using American tax dollars has been banned. Earmarks should, like Nancy, be retired yet again. While these reforms are critical to ensure the House functions properly and isn't run by a select few in the establishment, we also need to reform the Republican conference. We're demanding 5 basic reforms to be made in the GOP conference. First, enact the majority of the majority rule. This would ensure bills passed in the next Congress are supported by most Republicans and would make GOP leadership work with us Republicans far more than Democrats. Second, committees should select their own chairman. No more backroom deals and writing big checks to be appointed.
That should have never been a thing. You should always have been able to do what she just suggested.
As the chair. Third, the steering committee, that's the group that appoints members to the committees they'll serve on, needs reform. Specifically, we want to see more regional representatives on the committee. Fourth, members should be allowed to offer amendments to legislation on the House floor. This is a key component to making sure we pass thoughtful and effective legislation, and it will open up the legislative process to all members of the House. Finally, under GOP control, the House should stop passing these omnibus spending bills that are wasteful and reckless. we should pass the 12 appropriations bills individually like Congress was designed to do. These reforms to the House rules in the GOP conference that my colleagues and I in the House Freedom Caucus are calling for won't solve each crisis Biden has created, but these changes will ensure your member of Congress is better able to represent you and will create a framework for all of Congress to better serve the American people. I'm calling on all my colleagues to support these common sense changes and help restore the trust of the American people. God bless you, and God bless America.
So then the comment on the screen says, I want a red wave in November. I want Trump to win in 24. But
Terrorists.
if
What? Who?
they won't actually fight for stuff like this, why bother? I agree. There's
Well, they
so many
are.
things, so many good points that she brought up. That, and yeah, a lot of them are.
All kinds of these
but
people that are
there's
coming up
some
in
of
November,
them that aren't.
all of them would support this. Almost, well, I should say all, but like a ton of them would. Ton of them, in on the House side especially, that are coming up to be in Congress, like that guy from Arizona that you were talking about with God, I keep forgetting his name. What is it, Jeffrey something or another? Where it's the clip, his commercial where the Klan people are running up after him, and he says the only thing to stand between you and a bunch of angry Democrats is your AR-15 with all the bullets.
That guy,
like that guy. I mean, there's tons of these people that are running, and there's tons of these people that are winning their primaries. And they're in Republican-held districts, so the rhinos are being kicked out. I mean, we're moving the ball down the lane here, folks. This is happening. I mean, don't get depressed. Like, we're making tons of progress here. I mean, there is a ground-swelling support for the true conservative, true MAGA, true America First movement here. Like, there is a huge groundswell for this. I mean, Republican Party registration has gone through the roof everywhere ever since 2020. And now we're really seeing this stuff move through. I mean, these people now move through for the House and Senate. I mean, we are winning. I mean, just like the information that came out with Hunter Biden's, iPhone and iCloud accounts and stuff. I mean, the CIA, I mean, this is a video that I posted on my Rumble about, the individual that I was talking about that was like a high-level CIA individual who I believe was flipping their crap. Like, they can't control this stuff anymore. Like, they can't even control the release of information that comes out on their own people that they have in their government. Like, they can't. Like, we're winning. Like, we're pushing back. This is happening. And they're flipping their shit. Now, they're arrogant still because they think they can do it. They think they can get away with everything that they can do. But we are making progress. We are making so much progress. I mean, so much across the board. You look at every state, you look at all these congressional districts, you look at all this different stuff. The rhinos are being kicked the hell out of the party. I mean, they banned Liz Cheney from even attending Republican Party events in her state. The Republican Party of that state banned her. I mean, we are, and not to say that the woman that's replacing her is going to be super great herself, unless she's made some radical changes to her life that I don't know about. But yeah, I mean, we are winning across the board, and we're passing things. I mean, look at Wisconsin. The Supreme Court of Wisconsin came out and said no drop boxes. Other places are saying no drop boxes. None of this crap. So even with fornication or fortification of electorally things, if you get the lingo.
Yeah, that second word, not the first one.
Oh, what, fornicate?
not that one.
Oh, well, that's what Barnes likes to say now. Blame him. But that's where I got it from. I mean, yeah, I mean, like, we're winning across the board. I mean, you look at some of these, even like state elections themselves. I mean, there's a ton of good people. And I mean, again, as I just mentioned earlier, look at the state of West Virginia. I mean, the state of West Virginia, people didn't even think that it existed. Now, all of a sudden, there's a Supreme Court case that's West Virginia versus the EPA because West Virginia has gone so goddamn MAGA that they're pushing back against the Great Reset at every level in their state. I mean, folks, we are making tons of progress and we are winning. So I'm not saying to relax and like kick back. I mean, we still have to push. But because we're all pushing against these people, we can look around at each other at this long line of people that are just like us across the country, and this line of just pushing against the Great Reset and pushing against these globalist people and pushing against Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates and the WEF and the Chinese infiltration of things. And you can see there's this huge line of people and they all believe the same thing, and even if they don't exactly agree with you, we are forming a huge coalition and we are pushing these people out, and it's working to a large extent. And we have to keep pushing and we have to keep fighting and we have to keep the pressure on. We have to keep the pedal to the metal. Do not lax up. The sooner you lax up, the sooner they push back and they catch you off guard, and then boom, you're back to COOF lockdowns. You're back to all the rest of that crap. Mandates of different kinds. You have to keep the pedal to the metal non-stop every freaking day. And just keep pushing. Because we'll win if we keep doing that. If we keep waking other people up that are like-minded with us, that are voting along with us, if we keep waking them up to what's really going on with the globalist people, the Great Reset stuff that's coming about. And by the way, the Great Reset stuff, everybody's making books about it. Tucker Carlson's talking about it. Glenn Beck is talking about all this stuff now. I mean, all these people, of course, Glenn Beck has been talking about a lot of things similar to that, but he hasn't come out as much as he has now and just full blown against all of this. I mean, everybody is doing this. So we have to keep moving with this. We have to keep the pedal to the metal. That's why I say we have to keep going with this momentum that we have with the impeachment of Joe Biden, and don't let them steal the narrative. I'm not saying that the Dems don't have power. Don't underestimate your enemy. Holy shit, do not underestimate your enemies here, ladies and gentlemen. Like this witch here, don't underestimate her power to jump on her airplane and try to start a war with China and try to make things go to holy hell in a minute. I mean, so do not underestimate your enemies, but understand where you stand and understand that, like, yeah, I mean, we're making a shit ton of progress here, and we just got to keep pushing forward, and we cannot, excuse me, we cannot be lax. We cannot sit back. We cannot just, okay, we're winning, so I don't have to do anything. No. The reason we're winning is because you keep doing stuff every day. You keep telling other people. You keep watching things like this. You keep watching, podcasts like this, or live streams like this, or radio shows, listening to them, or even watching them. Some of them have, the television thing.
Hold on.
Just keep
there's
doing
a question.
it.
There's a question
Keep
here.
pushing.
It says, "What is the name of the blue dot speaking?" That is AmericaShirts. AmericaShirts are first.com.
Yeah.
Go and telling you right now. That's who's speaking. Just so you understand who it is. Peggy Brow.
Oh,
this one here.
Hello.
Yep. Welcome. That's who that is. I'm Koolfrogg. That's AmericaShirts.
The shirt store is not up just yet, but it will be very soon. Like very, very soon, I hope. There's a couple of.
I would assume within the next week he'll have it complete.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
There you go. So let's kind of move it on a little bit here. We're going to actually talk about some Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi begins her Asia tour with no mention of Taiwan. I wonder why. Do you wonder why?
Because apparently she wants to stir the pot of shit.
Apparently she's not going to try going there. I wonder if anything that was actually said beforehand, her actually doing this, would actually be the reason that she actually is not trying to go there right now. So this is the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, is beginning a tour of Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, and Japan. Her office says with no mention of a possible visit to Taiwan. There has been intense speculation that she's she may visit the self-ruled island. Taiwan is claimed by China, which is warned of serious consequences if she goes there. No high-ranking U.S. elected official has visited Taiwan in 25 years. Ms. Pelosi, a California Democrat, tweeted that the six-person congressional delegation tour would seek to reaffirm America's unshakable commitment to our allies and friends in the region. Her office said the tour was to the Indo-Pacific region, including visits to Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, Japan. China sees Taiwan as a breakaway province that must become a part of the country. Beijing has not ruled out the possible use of force to achieve this in the future. Chinese officials have expressed anger over what they view as growing diplomatic engagement between Taipei and Washington. There was a surprise visit to the island by 6 U.S. lawmakers in April. The U.S. has formal diplomatic ties with China and not Taiwan. Ms. Pelosi has long been a vocal critic of the Chinese leadership, denouncing its human rights record. She has met pro democracy descendants and visited Tiananmen Square to commemorate victims of the 1989 massacre. Her original plan was to visit Taiwan in April, but she was postponed her trip because she tested positive. Earlier in the month, she said it was important for us to show support for Taiwan. President Joe Biden has said the U.S. military believes a Pelosi visit to Taiwan is not a good idea right now. The statement from her office on Sunday said the tour would focus on mutual security, economic partnership, and democratic governance in the Indo-Pacific region. The talks will also cover trade, the climate crisis, and human rights. The delegates accompanying Ms. Pelosi are leading members of the House of Representatives Gregory Meeks, Mark Takano, Susan Delbene, Raja, whatever his last name is, and Andy Kim. The last House Speaker to visit Taiwan was Republican Newt Gingrich in 1997. Really don't think she's going to attempt to go there. It sounds dangerous and could be very bad for our. Maybe it would be good for our country. Maybe she should attempt to go. Thoughts? America Shirts?
Well, again, like I said, sometimes I just think, she was just, going over there to, stir the pot of crap. But apparently they're cucking out to the Chinese.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's more to come from this story, though, in the future, as it pertains to
Oh yeah, there's more to the story. There's definitely more to the story. Here's the Washington Examiner. Pelosi makes no mention of Taiwan in the Asian trip itinerary. And it pretty much, kind of sums up the same as the other article. Let's see. If Pelosi really visits Taiwan as planned, the Tsai Ing-wen authorities are accomplice. The mainland will definitely carry out severe punishment actions to Taiwan at the same time. The unbearable consequences will fall to the Tsai authorities. If she goes and she attempts to go, not only will they attempt to take her out, they will also move forward and actually try taking over the island of Taiwan. Because that's what they want to do. They're going to continue to do what they want to get what they want. It's not going to go well at all. Eventually somebody's going to go after this island, and we're not going to be able to stop them. There's no way that we're going to be in the right standing for any of this to actually just immediately go in there and stop them. It'll lead
And
to
we really
war.
shouldn't. I mean, this is another thing where we'll just have to get ourselves involved in another war because all of our
It'll lead to that war. Exactly.
Right.
It'll lead to war. There's
we
nothing
need to focus on getting manufacturing back into the United States totally. And then that way we don't have to rely upon major parts and replacements for infrastructure in the United States as well as military infrastructure on a foreign country. Again, it's not like I don't like Taiwan, either they're very, shall we say, not communist. But at the same time, I mean, we can't just be running around everywhere, playing shoot 'em up games with everyone else's country.
And of course, Nancy Pelosi.
Good morning.
Sunday morning.
I think that it's important for us to show support for Taiwan. I also think that none of us has ever said we're for independence when it comes to Taiwan. That's up to Taiwan to decide. But if the inference to draw on from your comment is that my going there is problematic, I think what the president was saying is maybe the military was afraid our plane would get shot down or something like that by the Chinese. I don't know exactly. I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. You're telling me, and I've heard it anecdotally, but I haven't heard it from the president.
Because it takes the president to tell you to not go there. That's what it takes. The president has to tell you to not go there. Otherwise, you're going to still attempt. If you're going to still attempt, the hell? Why is this playing sound? The hell?
Huh?
Damn it. I got something playing sound in the background.
Oh.
And I need to stop it before I move on.
Yeah, before we do move on here, if I can find this. I wonder what happened to it. Let me see.
What the?
But well,
I can't find the tab that's actually playing sound. I'm going to boomer through the next few moments because that's just what happens.
Yeah,
oh, there it is. But, so that's basically what it comes down to is if she attempts to go anywhere near Taiwan, there's a threat. There's a threat that they're actually going to try taking her out. They're going to try hitting mainland or the island of Taiwan, and they're going to push this into world war, is what they're trying to do. They're actually doing whatever they can to actually cause war. And she doesn't seem to understand that if she just stay away, she might be all right.
Yeah, well, I mean, this might explain a lot.
I'm so glad that I showed this to you.
Hello, peasants. You're gonna have to excuse me. I was out a little late last night celebrating our recent victory. For those of you who haven't heard, we won the CHIP Act.
What's the CHIP Act?
The CHIP Act is a $53 billion bribe.
A bribe?
Yeah, a bribe. You see, in order for the semiconductor manufacturing companies to stay in America, we had to give them some money.
How can the government afford $53 billion?
Oh, we can't. That's why we paid them in taxpayer money.
You use taxpayer money?
Hey, it's not my fault that these peasants gave the government full control of everything. We've been very vocal about maintaining our power. We're just not interested in helping mankind.
But it's not your money. It's the taxpayers' money.
Yeah, well, We do it all the time. You do? Not just much so. This was the most we've ever spent. I mean, I've spent lots more money than this on my grandkids and, stuff for around the house and vacations. Speaking of vacations, I'm happy to let all of you taxpayers know that I'm gonna tie one on. What? Oh, I'm sorry. What I meant to say is that I'll be vacationing in Taiwan.
House Drinker, do you really think that's a good idea?
Of course it is. I gotta drop off a taxpayer check anyways. Might as well cross the red line. They love me over there, and I just love Taiwan vodka. It's like moonshine.
Drinker of the house, are you sure they want you there?
Of course they do. They love me over there. Just listen to some of these heartfelt, welcoming invitations. Dear Nancy, don't come. Seriously, that's an inside joke. Here's another one. Hey, shipwreck, stay in your own country. You're not welcome here. They got a funny sense of humor over there. Here's another one. This is not a joke. Stay out of our country. Dear House Drinker, your dentures can come, but not you. And this one right here is one of my favorites. Hey, crazy lady, we'll be watching for your plane. Aw, so sweet. So anyways, as you can see, I'm extremely excited about my vacation.
House Drinker!
Yeah?
Instead of vacationing in Taiwan, you should be focusing on America.
America's doing great. Look around.
Well, why don't you vacation at the southern border then?
Why the hell would I do that?
So, because, it seemed as though war may be imminent in that area near Taiwan, U.S. aircraft carrier strike group move into the South China Sea as Pelosi plans a possible Taiwan visit. So, Taiwan. They're actually moving. Stop it. They're actually moving.
Oh my God!
Ships
It's
into
the
the South
USS
China Sea.
Ronald Reagan is
Yep,
going
the
to
USS Ronald
Nancy
Reagan.
Pelosi's
Mhm.
aid. Oh my God!
Mhm. To confirm, USS Ronald Reagan and her strike group are now underway, operating in the South China Sea following a successful port visit to Singapore. As a matter of policy, we do not discuss future ship movements. However, I will add that Reagan is continuing normal scheduled operations as part of her routine patrol in support of a free and open Indo-Pacific. Isn't that something? So, if you're sitting there wondering, are we going to do anything about it if China decides to strike Taiwan? Yes, we will. We're going to totally do something. We'll be there to watch it happen, and it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all. We're actually interjecting in things that we have no reason to interject in, again, as we always do. And it's going to really seriously. This is going to be the second step to World War III. We say second step because the first step is most likely the fight between Russia, Ukraine, and what we call the UN.
Barbara Vance asks, "Is Kamala going with Pelosi?" Well, no. Kamala's too busy doing this here.
Can we just put like 50 people on that airplane? Whatever.
I know, right?
It's a serious
even if we'd limit it to the top 4, put Biden and Kamala with Pelosi and Leahy, and see what happens. Just why not, right? Go ahead,
Well,
play your clip.
Kamala though is too busy doing this.
It's a serious day in America. We have very pressing matters to discuss, and we're bound and beholden to those matters. Before we get to all that, I am Kamala Harris. My name is Vice President Kamala Harris, first woman VP. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit. My pronouns are she and her. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I'm wearing a blue suit, one of many. My pants are Old Navy, and school buses are yellow.
Because think about it, yellow school buses are our nation's largest form of mass transit.
My hobbies include skiing, man hopping, excuse me, bar hopping. I'm a riot. I do think it's significant to go bar hopping with Nancy, of course, my favorite bar partner, and her husband. I'm driving this time. No. Elections matter. And in this case, you're going to continue to get what you ask for.
Oh my God, it's so perfect.
Who made that?
Rebel News.
That was all Rebel News. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Check out Rebel News. Rebel News is pretty good stuff.
This is, and the woman that does it,
Divinity's.
is
Oh my God, Koolfrogg. Why? Well, because it's fun and it's, it makes the
Esty
news. It makes the news tolerable. Esty.
Esty Pelty is her name.
Okay. From one name to another that you can't pronounce. Karine Jean-Pierre. Says White House Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre is incompetent, and I told her so on Twitter. Here you go. Ducey just owned press secretary so bad that she literally just stuttered and lied about inflation.
To the American Rescue Plan, which only Democrats voted for that, Republicans did not, and it led to this economic boom, this historic economic boom that we're seeing with jobs.
Lead to historic inflation?
No, that is not. That is not. That
is not.
Yeah, even the sign language lady over there in the corner is like, I don't know.
She's like, what am I supposed to say? That is not, well, folks.
Maybe, ish. She's like, I don't know. Anyway,
Nicholas Taylor, good to see you, bud.
Oh, hey, was it?
Okay. The president said today that we're not going to be in a recession. Why is he so confident of that?
So if you look at the economic indicators, as the president was laying out, if you look at the labor market, right now we are seeing historic unemployment. If you look at low unemployment at 3.6, if you look at the average amount of jobs that have been created, it's about 400 per month. Those indicators do not show.
that was Puppy Trumple.
I freaking love those. What's his name again?
You are remarkably bad at your job. That was Puppy Trumple. Donaldo Trumpo.
Oh yeah, that guy. And then of course
Puppy Trumple.
And then of course the meme is about the cat. The cat. What's his name? Cat litter? No.
Oh my.
What is his name on Twitter?
We'll let you look around and see if you can't find the actual. Jimmy Toner
Cat turd.
Says
What's his name? Cat turd.
Cat turd. You're remarkably bad at your job. After she says, "Where are the pesos for your bigoted wall?" Her response, "You're blocked." Just like, oh my God, that's a perfect article. Kind of give us a little bit of a break from the mundaneness of everything that we've been doing, because it's the news. We need to juice it up a little bit and make it worthwhile watch, because otherwise you're just like, oh my God, more news. Yes, more news. Steve Bannon's bitter feud with Jared Kushner exposed. Oh. During the Trump administration, Jared Kushner, an aide for the former President Trump, and Steve Bannon, also an aide, were engaged in battle with each other during their time at the White House. Kushner, who is married to Trump's daughter and fellow ex-White House aide Ivanka Trump, admits being put on the back foot of Bannon's prodigious appetite for office politics and leaking damaged information to the media. Bannon, who refers to himself as the economic nationalist, was especially intent on undermining Kushner and then Treasury Secretary Gary Cohn, whom he saw as a Wall Street insider who would eventually damage Trump's popularity with his MAGA base. He probably leaked and lied about me more than everyone else combined. He played dirty and dragged me into the mud. Kushner eventually won the West Wing war when Trump ousted Bannon as a White House political strategist. Bannon was a chief executive officer in the Trump campaign in its final 3 months of 2016 and then White House chief strategist for 7 months before leaving the Trump administration for a return for his former job at Breitbart News. Then President Trump fired Bannon from his position at the White House in 2017, thanking him with a tweet. I want to thank Steve Bannon for his service. He came to the campaign during my run against crooked Hillary Clinton. It was great. Thanks. Rumor of Bannon's departure from the White House were swirling in July 2017 when John Kelly was named to take over the job of chief strategist, including resurrecting among their staff. But Bannon sealed his fate with his interview with liberal journalist Robert Kuttner, in which he criticized rivals by name, contradicted policy of the president, and revealed his plans to shuffle State Department personnel. Bannon later was quoted in a book, according to Fire and Fury inside the Trump White House, making disparaging remarks about both Trump and his son-in-law. When the book was released, the White House press secretary Sarah Sanders said in a written statement that the book was filled with false and misleading accounts and that Trump was furious and disgusted by Bannon's remarks. She stated then, going after the president's son in an absolutely outrageous way and probably not the best way to curry favor with anybody. Jared Kushner, on the other hand, did not go after Bannon. Bannon was charged in 2019 with duping thousands of donors who believed their money would be used to fulfill Trump's chief campaign promise to build a wall along the southern border. Instead, he diverted the money, some to himself, and was caught. In the final hours before he left the White House in January 2020, when President Trump pardoned Bannon of that crime, along with 140 other people, including entertainers and ex-members of Congress, as well as those who had been serving time at length already. Some were surprised that President would pardon Bannon, but Trump did include him in the pardons that day. Kushner reflects on the battle with Bannon now that time has passed. He portrays himself as a benevolent winner because he greenlighted Trump's pardon of Bannon for swindling donors to a private group claiming to build a wall on the border with Mexico. After Bannon was pardoned by President, more trouble came knocking. Bannon was recently convicted of contempt of Congress for defying a subpoena on the J6 committee. Bannon was found guilty of refusing to testify and provide documents that were requested and sentenced in October of 21. Bannon is free until he awaits sentencing, which could be up to 2 years in prison. Benevolent is the right word for Kushner's actions. Now that he is in trouble, I felt like helping him was the right thing to do, Kushner writes. without explaining why it is right to give Bannon a get out of jail card. In Kushner's upcoming new book, Breaking History, a White House memoir, he relates many instances during the Trump administration's White House tenure and mentions the feud with Bannon. Kushner is relating how intense the feud was between himself and Bannon made violent threats to him while the two were in the same team. The former presidential son-in-law portrays Bannon as a toxic presence in the West Wing who relished inter-office chaos in his forthcoming memoir, Breaking History. According to Kushner, former Trump advisor Steve Bannon was a toxic presence who accused him of undermining the president's agenda and threatened to break him in half if Kushner turned on him. Jared, right now, you're the one undermining the president's agenda. And if you go against me, I will break you in half. Don't F with me, according to the excerpts of the book revealed by CNN. Oh, great. Thank you, Crappy News Networks, for letting us know how you feel.
Yeah, that was a big hullabaloo with all of that. And, you know, Bannon's been a good guy, but I think what happened between him and Trump was because of the back and forth with Kushner, which I do think that some of this may have happened, of course, not in the way in which this stupid book portrays it.
Thank you,
But,
Alan. I've been working on that for a while.
Because of not wanting to interfere with his daughter's relationship with her husband, Jared Kushner.
They all understood that I
Trump
actually did a
defensive.
Trump. I sounded just like him. I got a couple of them that I see. Divinity. Well, LOL. Was that Trump? Yes, absolutely. I'm glad you all liked my Trump impression.
Yeah. But but I think that Trump threw him out because of the loyalty to his daughter and to their marriage, and because he heard that goings on in the book, I think he got really defensive.
Welcome back, Cynthia.
Well, right, exactly, Toy Box Ring. You know that's why you're here. You know,
Exactly. You're here because it's us. What's there not to love about us?
And Nicholas Taylor says, "I bet Bannon wish he could break him in half." Yeah, a lot of people sometimes would like to break Jared Kushner in half. There was one thing that I think that he did that was kind of good. Of course, I don't know everything involved with it, but the Abraham Accords, I thought that was a pretty good thing to try to keep the peace over there in the Middle East. But other than that,
being that Cynthia just showed up and she's questioning why she got demodded, it wasn't anything personal. There was a bunch of people that were actually wrenched that shouldn't have been wrenched, that were doing things that they shouldn't have been doing. And I had to actually remove them. And in the process of trying to figure it out, I left mods on people that I knew, trusted, had, and that's pretty much what it came down to. If anybody else feels that they want their wrench back, seek me out, find me somehow, some way, ask me for the wrench back, and I may do so as long as I can realize that you're actually trustworthy. Not that you're not trustworthy, because I just don't know.
Barbara
Just
Vance,
saying.
you took my wrench?
See, somebody, I was going to say somebody just blocked it, but never mind, they gave it back. Mods are gay. So, you can be mad that you have the wrench, or you can be upset that you don't, or I'm sorry if you feel the way you do. All I ask is that, you actually do subscribe to me. And, because otherwise having a wrench and not subscribing still allows you to do the things that a wrench can do. Just saying. In other news, look at those empty shelves. Farming Insider warns this coming food shortages are going to be far worse than they were worse than we're being told. Sounds horrible. If we're going to actually have problems with food shortages worse than they expected to begin with. Here's the DC Homeland Security Emergency Management's Twitter page saying, if you're hitting the grocery store to prepare for winter weather, please just buy what you need and leave some for others. You may have noticed empty shelves in some stores due to national supply chain issues, but there's no need to buy more than you normally would. I have an issue with that because I normally buy what I normally would to last me at least a month. Do I go grocery shopping more than once a month? Yes, absolutely. And that's why there is a thing called stock. And when you actually tell us that we shouldn't be doing so because you feel that this is going to get worse and we need to save some food for others, and there's already a shortage, you're just going to expect everybody doesn't run out all at the same time and be like, oh, I guess we all go hungry today. Wrong. That's not how it happens. It's very dangerous for them to actually be suggesting this, and I'm very upset with it because,
Yes, because
I'm
then we
not
all
supposed
can
to.
just slowly starve to death.
Right, all of us. Every single person can slowly die. No, I'm not.
Right, so that way there's not a panic. We all just slowly die of starvation.
Right. So then, as we're slowly dying of starvation, to keep people from taking things that they don't need, at a 5-finger discount. Look at that. Spam is locked up due to inflation. Crime in New York City. This has gone too far.
Do you understand how much money it takes to lock up a spam cam like that? Every freaking cam like that? That's insane.
You know how much extra space that takes up? Oh, never mind. There's plenty of space because of the food shortages. There's
Right.
lots of space. So, I mean, I just couldn't imagine having to go through and actually purchase food that's all locked up, each individual piece. Because, dang well, when you get up to that counter, you're not doing self-checkout to remove these. You're going to have to go to somebody. So maybe it's giving somebody their job back, or somebody is actually doing the job they should be doing. Because I sure as hell don't work at a grocery store or Walmart or anything like that. Because, what the hell? If I go into a store, I am not going into a self-checkout. That's the last thing I'll do. I've been told several times with several different people. I stood in a line with 7 people in line, being the last one in line, and have the guy in front of me be like, self-checkout's over there. I'm like, yeah, why don't you go over there? He's, oh, because I need this or that. And it's usually the tobacco aisle or whatever that they go through. And I'm like, I don't work here. They're like, what? I'm like, I don't work here. I'm not going to go and do my own shit. No, I'm not going to do it. Get off your asses and open up a register for us. Do your job. Screw you, divinity. This is Koolfrogg's a lazy power bottom. I don't think so. That's not how it works. I'm just not going to go and do somebody else's job. That's their job to do that. Self-checkout is not fun. Anybody that likes to do self-checkout, as you can tell, we're actually breaking down towards the end here. I really don't have anything left. You got anything? Anything that you think that we should cover that we haven't covered already?
Let me look again really quickly at some stuff. Make sure. Oh, Iraq. The Iraq parliament held a session to elect the president, and they unanimously voted that Muqtada al-Sadr as president of Iraq. This was 4 minutes ago. Jack Posobiec posted that. Did not know that.
Oh no. Nope. Okay, good. My computer just all of a sudden like wanted to shut down or something.
Here, let me show
It's
that little
like
clip that we
everything
shared.
stopped.
Let's see if I can make this. Oh yeah, what the heck? I can make it bigger. Share the screen here. Oh, that's pretty blurry. Let me just do this.
It's not gonna go any better. It's just gonna do what it's gonna do.
Well, but I mean, not that you have to see too many people's faces, but just to see the crowd.
مجلس الشعب يلتفت إلى السيد مقتدى الصدر ليستلم زمام الأمور ويكون الرئيس هو الرئيس وهو الحاكم في العراق وهو إن شاء الله أن يوجد من إمام المهدي عز الله تعالى إن شاء الله وهو إن شاء الله أن
So that's the parliament, or is that just a group of people cheering that on? I don't exactly know.
I'm glad you shared that because
now
it helped us all not really know what's going on.
Apparently, this guy. Now, I think these people here, and as this tweet suggests as well, all that blood and treasure, so they can have a Shia warlord in charge. Nice. The satirists in the Iraq parliament held a session. Those are the people that are allied with Iran, and they're the ones that let the Iranian militia groups go in there and go after the people in the north, the Kurds. So that's interesting. I have to look up who the satirists are, but I think that those are the Shia group there. Because again, Islam is split into Sunni and Shia, and Iran is Shia. So, let me see. Satirist Islamic nationalist movement led by, oh, there it is, Muqtada al-Sadr. Movement draws wide support from across Iraqi society, especially from the Shia community. So yeah, this is the Shia group. This is the Shia. And apparently they have majority, and they just put their person into power. He's a militia leader. So yeah, that's the head of some of these Shia groups that are aligned with Iran, and they're now in power and control of Iraq. So Iraq is going to align itself with Iran.
Look, Nancy Pelosi's doing fine over Taiwan.
Pretty accurate.
Oh, that's funny. If anybody's out there that is wanting us to cover anything else, if you tag me before you put your sentence down, I'll try to read whatever you're actually wanting me to cover, and we can try looking something up. And
Excuse me. I was telling the people that I was going to get um little a Barbara's as little dog. Nicholas Taylor, Iran and Iraq coalition. Well, looks like we're going to get even cozier with Saudi Arabia. Great. Yeah. Because Iran and Saudi Arabia don't really like each other all that much. So.
What is going on, or what's happening?
Yes, yes.
Pretty
Nancy
much,
Pelosi had a stroke.
we've run out of stories. I don't have anything else pulled up. Um, we've been here for almost 3 hours, and by this time, when we run out of news, what we had been doing is either we bring people in and we break down into panel and have fun, or we just go away.
I probably
Did
would have
America's Shirts have a stroke?
Yeah, I was saying no. Nancy Pelosi had one. There's no bad answer.
Nani. 3 hours. That's nothing. Yeah, it's 3 hours. 3 hours is nothing, unless you actually set on somebody else's show for almost 2 hours before running the 3 hour show.
Oh yeah,
Just
I forgot
saying.
about
Absolutely nothing. Nothing to see here.
that. Nothing to see here.
What do you say? Should we go away?
Yeah, I think
there's 50 people still watching us. That's the thing. They're still watching us because they're like it's the time that it is. We normally go for another almost 4 hours. What are they talking about? They're going away? Are you kidding me? What am I gonna do? I gotta find something else to do.
Cynthia is in love with my voice. Really is. I mean, it's a little embarrassing actually.
I think she really has a crush on you.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, it's like that AOC thing. It's like, I mean, man, it's like everybody just one of those things.
Yeah, keep streaming for at least another 3 hours. Okay, Anani. I don't have a problem with that. I just, y'all gonna have to talk to us. Like I said, I just got off of a almost 2 hour show before running my own 3 hour show.
Barbara Vance says the Pakistani leader said this is how they got Zelensky into office, and he refuses to be pushed aside. People gathering to him by people are gathering to him. That's probably what that is. The R or the T. People are gathering to him by droves. Video is on Twitter. Oh yeah, I've been hearing a lot about Pakistan over the course of the past couple of months as well. Kind of an interesting thing there.
Up. Bet about the next volcano is going off. Any takers? We just talked about one last week, whatever, in Japan.
Oh yeah,
I'd almost assume, right? I would almost assume that eventually, one of these days, we're all going to be super surprised when we find out that
that's who that is.
Yellowstone finally erupted. Just saying.
Oh God! Don't say that, Koolfrogg. You're right there.
I am. I'm sitting right on top of it. Let's do it. I'm tired, actually. The F am I saying? I need sleep. Let's do what? I threw you a link if you want to come in here, Divinity. Just saying.
Yeah, I should probably go there. If you are going to stay out, I will probably head out myself because I got stuff to do.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful night.
Indeed, people. Have a fantastic evening. Thank you so much for coming and sticking around here, listening to
If
our
everybody's going to
shtick.
stick around this long, though, I'll make sure that I start producing. I'll do another whole stack of stuff to go along with the stack of stuff that I already do.
Make sure you subscribe to Koolfrogg on the Rumble and on the locals. And make sure you subscribe to me on the Rumble. All those links are in the description. In capital A, capital S all together, one word on Rumble for me. You can search it. And again, the link's in the description. And my website, AmericaShirts.com. Please bookmark
The
that.
most based t-shirts on the planet.
Because here in this upcoming week, it is going to be put to the release. So whenever that happens, be ready. And you can check that out.
Show that real quick. Show them where it's at. Yeah, that discount code. It's a sweet discount code. It's Koolfrogg. It's not.
Oh, are
it's
you
not
wanting
so
me to
difficult.
show it? Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Couple little
AmericaShirts.
things have to be tweaked, but
right. There's a couple things that are in the works yet, whatever. But for the most part, you can see it's got some really nice based t-shirts that will actually start conversations on their own.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that.
Just saying, there's lots there. There's a couple links. He's probably doesn't have those all linked, like he didn't the other day. And there's a couple links down below that aren't linked yet. He's diligently working on his stuff. Yep, just a couple more
And
things.
I have to connect a couple of things with, accounts and so forth. But I make sure that it's still connected and everything's working. So anyways, but stuff like that. Just a couple more little things. Sometime this week, I shall be officially putting on notice that you can go shop.
Starlight Down, is my Discord open? Yeah. There is a way to get into Discord. Okay, cool. Thanks, Germs.
And that is the way you support
Germs
me.
is going to help you get in there, whatever. Come join us. The conversations are fun to have. There's some degeneracy that's in there, so just be careful which links you actually click on, and have a fun time. Enjoy what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
All right.
And again, if you go there to my website and you bookmark it, and when it comes up, you purchase a couple of things. Not only will you be starting conversations, and not only will you be waking people up, but you will also be supporting me. That's the way you support me. Is videos on
Starlight
Rumble.
Down. I heard total
shop at the store.
degeneracy. I'm going for that.
So bookmark that, ladies and gentlemen.
Germs. Just share that straight out. That's awesome. I guess I'll be watching how many people go and jump inside my Discord. If you seriously not Starlight Down and you actually did that, fair warning, I don't deal with bullcrap. I do remove people if I find it necessary. Just saying. All right. Everybody have a good night.
Yep. Later, peeps. Thanks for sticking around for the shtick. Later.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.